Hello, friends. Welcome to the Slim, Fitty, and Biggie Committee podcast, where we review hip hop albums so that you don't have to. Coming up on today's show, we've got Royce da 5'9's new album, The Allegory. All right, let's get into it. So the review of the Royce da 5'9 album, Allegory. What did you guys expect coming in?
Alright, so I had mixed emotions going into this album. It's something that I feel like I delayed listening to.
Did you? How long did you delay?
I've delayed quite a long time.
Oh, really?
Just because this came out right after Eminem's album, and I was like, obviously being an avid Eminem fan, I listened to that straight away. But then when this came out, I was sort of like, I don't know, I didn't feel as hyped as I did for the Eminem album. So
how dare you?
Yeah, I know, I sort of delayed it. But in saying that, I also, there was excitement to listen to it. It was just sort of it was just deeper down within inside me. I needed to find the motivation to listen to it because I knew it was going to be good because Royce is good.
And what finally motivated you to do it?
I think it would have to be the peer pressure.
That'd do it.
Yeah. but you know, in this instance, I'm glad that I was influenced by peer pressure because I was very satisfied with the album.
Well, that's a spoiler.
Spoiler.
I won't let you guys know what I think until the end.
Me either. I'm not going to let you know at all. I'm not going to talk about the album.
I thought we were talking about Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, can we?
No. I mean, because I was going into this album, obviously, after Royce's most recent album, Book of Ryan. I was actually a big fan of the Book of Ryan. He did some good stuff, but then, you know, him doing and producing this album, I was kind of nervous as to what would happen. Like, whenever you're a first-time producer, yes, he's worked with Primo, yes, he's worked with Dr. Dre, but first-time producer and writing his own songs, I was kind of nervous heading into it. And I'm a big fan. Like, I'm a really big fan of Royce. I listened to him. Obviously, we all went to go see him live. I was kind of nervous about this because you just don't know what's going to happen first time producing. But, I was keen to listen to it. And I did listen to it a few times. So can't wait to let you boys know what I think.
In 2 months, you've listened to it a few times.
Yeah.
I bet he's listened to it as much as I've listened to music to be murdered by.
Yeah. Oh,
mate, I go to sleep listening to that shit.
Yeah, I know.
Daddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been a Royce fan for years. But I haven't liked an album of his for years as well. Like, Street Hop is one of my favorite albums, and that was 2009. Then I like the shit he did with Premier, Prime and stuff. That was pretty cool. Bad Meets Evil. But all that shit is more than 5 years ago. And the albums he's done in the last few years, Book of Ryan, what else was there?
He did Prime 2.
Prime 2 was average. Prime 1 was amazing.
And he did Layers before that. That was his
Layers was average as well, yeah. Book of Ryan, Layers, none of that impressed me except a couple of songs. So I wasn't super duper excited for this album because of the few albums that have been leading up to it. But it's Royce da 5'9", and he's an amazing rapper. So he has potential.
Well, the interesting thing is that he did Success Is Certain in 2011 and then had a 5-year break. And then since 2016, has done 3, i.e. Layers, Book of Ryan, and the Allegory. So that's like he took a big break for doing solo albums for a while. Obviously, he did that stuff with like, Prime, and he did Bad Meets Evil, Slaughterhouse, but he did Slaughterhouse in 2009. So, but Welcome to Our House was 2012. So he did take a break in there, but it seems like he's just smashing stuff out now. Like Book of Ryan was only 2018, and this is 2020. And he's just been on a bunch of features as well.
Yeah.
Prime 2 was also 2018.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he's been doing a lot lately. Not enough to impress me. I'm not talking about this album, just leading up to it, he hasn't been impressing me as much as he used to. But we're going to see what happens.
I was keen to see what his flow would be like and the sound he produced.
Yeah.
So speak on like I feel like you're saying, Danny, that overall not an artist that impresses me, but I'll still list like or not an artist that has impressed me recently with his like bodies of work. However, I know he's an amazing artist.
Correct.
And Aaron's like got this sort of like emotional, nostalgic, like just overall like admiration for Royce. So no matter, even if he knows that a project may be sort of, mediocre, he'll still like listen to it and look forward to listening to it because it's Royce and because it's one of his favorite artists. But how would you compare Royce then if another artist dropped an album? Like, where does he sit on your scale of like rappers and levels of excitement when he drops an album? Like, because for example, when Eminem dropped an album, for example, like that, like I'm off, like my excitement levels are off the chart. Like I'm like, right, I've got to go listen to this. Like right now, I'm not doing anything else. No one talk to me. This is it. Yeah. So like, how does Royce compare like to other artists when he drops an album like this, like for Aaron and then for Danny?
Well, Royce is definitely up there for me. I think the thing that always weighs on my mind is history. He's got a history of good stuff. He's got a history of things that I like. So he's always going to be creating excitement for me when he's releasing new music. Having said that, it doesn't stop me from listening to it and going, I'd skip that song. It just means that he's got enough history and goodwill in the bank for me to turn around and go, all right, I'm going to go for this. Whereas if his first 3 albums were poor, then I'd have that less likely to go for it. But I've liked what he's been doing for a long period of time now. So he's kind of got that respect in the bank already. So even if he doesn't do a great job, I'll still look forward to the next one, although it may be like a little bit nervous about it, but I'll still be keen to listen to it.
It's a good question. I would probably say, like you, although not to your level, but I was probably more excited for Eminem than for Royce, just because Eminem is he's just one of the best rappers of all time. Even though he hasn't been the best for a long time, he always has potential. And then similarly, like Jay Electronica released an album recently, and that was like 10 years in the making, and I was way more excited for that than this Royce da 591. And that one, he's never released an album. He's like released one song, but that song was amazing. Exhibit C, Jay Electronica. Like that shit is insane. One song I know is more excited for his album than Royce's. So that's kind of where I'm at with Royce today. If this was 10 years ago, though, and Royce was releasing an album, it would have been on the top of my list of things to do, to listen to. So he has fallen slightly in the last 10 years.
Yeah, but I will give him credit because he does try a lot of new things. Like every album, for the most part, is different. And I like that in an artist because I think a common complaint with a lot of artists is that they do the same thing all the time and there's no development in their art. Whereas this, at the very least, he's trying new stuff, getting into the producing game. So, got to give him props for always trying to get better.
I found that really interesting that you said that, Aaron, that this album, he not only, like, obviously wrote all the lyrics for, but he produced himself? Was that like entirely? He produced it all himself? Like,
he had assistants, like, there's a song there with Primo on there and stuff, and obviously he did get training, but for the most part, it's his sound. He experimented. It's like, for the first time in his career where he controls all of it, from lyrics to sound to who's on it, the whole thing. He doesn't have to rely on others to make a good beat for him. He's just picked them himself.
Yeah, that's sick. Like, I feel like that's like, you got to give him props for that, because like, that's taking on a whole nother beast, like, to do that. And I feel like a lot of artists, like rappers, as they get older in their careers, or as they progress into their careers, they like then begin to pursue the producing sort of avenue, and it can go like one of two ways. It can either work out really well, or just be something that they probably should never have looked into in the first place.
Well, fingers crossed Royce doesn't head down that way where he shouldn't have done it, and he should have just stuck to what he was good at. So fingers crossed this is the start of a good journey for him, not a poor one.
Yeah, and like, I think like my final thoughts on this before I get into this album is, this is the very first Royce album that I have listened to in its entirety. So this is sort of like now set the bar for me.
That's embarrassing.
Expectations of Royce, and like, I know it's embarrassing because like Royce has obviously been around for years and years, and I have listened to like his songs before. Like, yeah, I don't know. This is the first album that I have listened to from track one all the way through to the end, and I am thankful for it. So,
well, I'm interested to see what you say, because Danny and I have obviously listened to a lot more of his work, so we've got a little bit more in terms of our expectations of what we're used to from him. So it'll be interesting to see the difference between your interpretation versus Danny versus mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we get into it, is it worth saying what Allegory means? Because when I first heard the album, I didn't know what Allegory means, but as a definition, it's a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one. So that kind of sets the base of what this album's going to be about in terms of theme.
Yeah. Oh, well, to be honest, I didn't know what it meant either before listening to the album.
Aren't you a school teacher?
Are you both school teachers?
I'm not a bloody dictionary, mate. But like, yeah, I didn't know either, and I was pleasantly surprised when
you learned a new word.
When, spoiler alert, in the album it does sort of explain what that means.
Yeah, there is a definition of it.
Yeah, I thought that was really like cool. I like how Royce is like
teaching you English.
Yeah, like I don't know, like just educate, like going out of his way to not only think of a cool concept for an album, but then explain what that concept means for those dumbos out there like me who don't understand what an allegory is.
But did understanding what allegory means affect your listening of the album?
It affected my interpretation of the album, because then I was looking for hidden messages and hidden meanings that sort of went deeper than just the surface of what he was trying to get across on each track.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
And I think I have got sort of a meaning, or one of the main meanings from this album, like that comes full circle from the beginning to the end, that I'll reveal later. So
what a tease! Yeah. What a tease!
That's a good tease.
Oh, all right, guys, stay tuned because there's a big reveal at the end.
Yeah, so look for that like hidden reveal or hidden message in this video, and
remember to drop a like, subscribe, baby.
We need everyone we can get.
We're doing giveaways to those people who find that hidden message and comment that. So
a special coronavirus giveaway.
Yeah, the best comment will be able to join us on the podcast and review an album of their choice.
Oh, looks like my mom's joining the podcast, baby.
You'll also get a signed a signed photograph of the Slim Fitty and Biggie committee. So yeah, don't miss out.
Track one.
Let's go.
Royce to 5'9" album review, The Allegory. Track one.
This is copyright. This is copyright.
Intro.
Big Quint is going to sue us now. Good one. We can't release the podcast now.
Big Quint is like, obviously I'm a huge fan of Big Quint, but I want to know what's going on with the man's life lately. He just hasn't been sort of dropping content like he usually does. And I'm just like, YouTube censoring his shit now. Like, I don't know what's going on, but shout out to Big Quint and okay. And
shout out to
I want to see you get back into
shout out to all my hip-hop reviewers. Shout out to Dead and Hip Hop. Shout out to Big Quint. Shout out to the Needle Drop. All right, let's do it.
All right, I'll stop fucking around. Okay, so track one, Mr. Grace intro. This is my initial reaction to track one. So, a dope intro to this album.
So,
I particularly enjoyed the opening conversation between the father and son.
Mate, stop reading this shit.
Now, these are my pre-prepared notes, so I'm referring to them. So, okay.
Oh, okay. I'm about to read an essay.
All right. I'm just going to sort of summarize what I'm saying here from my notes. So, I'm already...
Just say it without making it sound like you're reading it.
I'm going to do an intro for you so that we can do it and you can kind of have a second. So, track one, Mr. Grace, Royce to 5'9", The Allegory. Off you go, Matt. What did you think?
All right. This is a dope intro to the album, in my opinion. I particularly enjoyed the conversation that you hear between the father and the son. And Royce is already starting to impress me with his clarity, his control, and his delivery of his lyrics in this track, which I feel are like setting the tone as well as the themes of this album. So I sense some profound shit is coming, and all I can say on this track is let's get it. Let's bring it on.
What'd you give it in terms of a star rating?
I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. As an opening track.
Big stars there.
That is big stars.
Yeah, big stars. Just because I don't know. I just like I said, I really enjoyed that sort of opening conversation. The questions that the father was posing to his son.
Is it son? I thought it was daughter. That's me. I don't know. Dan, did you think it was a son or?
It's definitely a daughter later. There's another skit later in the album where he's talking to a daughter. I don't know if this is the same child he's talking to.
Yeah, so this is from my interpretation. This is the son, and then in Miss Grace, that's the daughter. So
yeah, that might be.
Maybe
he's talking to his 2 children, and he's yeah. I don't know. I just it's a concept that I haven't heard before on an album, and I also liked how it was a combination of the conversation as well as Royce spitting some shit, and yeah, I don't know, I just really liked it.
Was he spitting though?
That's a good question.
Well, he was spitting, but like not in like a get you out of your seat sort of way, but it does what an opening or an intro track needs to do to set up an album, I think, or set up this album. So I don't know, I don't have anything to compare it to in terms of Royce's other bodies of work. So based on this listen for this album, I liked it. I give it 4 stars. That might change upon future listens.
Because I don't know, I agree with you that the intro, like the back and forth, was really cool. It's just a cool way of getting information across. It kind of sends a message. It kind of sets the tone for the album, though. Like, I tend not to be a huge fan of political stuff, only because...
Well, you're in for a ride on this album.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, part of my opinion on hip-hop is like, yes, they have a tool to speak, but at the same time, it's like an escape. So, I don't know. I was interested to see, but I mean, his flow is so slow here. I mean, like
what
it
flow?
is...
There's no flow.
But it's just like, he's just talking. But like, he's still got really cool imagery in his lines. He's still got multi-syllable rhymes. You're like, he says things like, I was destined to be more than an apple laying next to a tree, bro. I'm just here to get popped by the cops, get popular, so I can get discredited in a documentary by the enemy while in a homicidal, fratricidal cycle of wild, constant, hostile energy, looking down the barrel of a rifle while trying to find some inner peace. It's cool, the wordplay that he's doing, but at the same time, I can also speak, and I can say that. And I'm not saying that I could do it as well, but part of what I've always liked about Royce is flow, and he just doesn't have it here.
That is so true. That is correct. Yeah.
And then the beat is just a bit too raw. There's just something missing. Like, I get that he's trying to get the words to carry, but there's just something a little bit too simple about the song. He needs a little bit more. He needs it to pop. If he's going to have an intro that's long, it's like 4 minutes, he can have that meaningful bit at the start, but I want it to pop. I want it to big up the vibe so that I know and I'm looking forward to the next song. I just don't think he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. But like, I feel like he's on some preacher shit here. Like, and that's like I said before, that's setting the tone for the album. This is going to be a preachy sort of album. And maybe an intro that pops isn't the perfect fit for this album. Maybe it's more, maybe this is the intro that is perfect for this particular album. Like, I don't know if this album is going to be a banger album as such.
Yeah, but it's like, my point is that I want a track that makes me want to listen to the next one. And if I'm not into hip hop and not into Royce da 5'9", am I going to listen to the next track after that? Maybe is probably the answer. Like, I gave it 3 stars.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm.
What do you reckon, Danny?
Yeah, like, I'm more leaning towards you, Aaron. Because, yeah, like, the thing that stood out for me with Royce from the very start, when I discovered him, or listened to him for the first time, was his flow. That is number one. That is his greatest asset, is his flow. And he completely threw that out the window for this song. But I also see what Matt's saying with, like, this is a concept album, and so he's trying to set the stage for the album, and I guess it does that. But I judge songs also, like, on replayability, and there's no replayability in a spoken word poetry style song. Like, I don't put those kinds of songs in a playlist to listen to again and again. Like, it's spoken word poetry. Like,
yeah,
it's got some good lines, like you said. Like, I picked out the exact same one as you. I was destined to be more than an apple laying next to a tree, bro. Clandestine, colourful G stuck in a G code, thrust into street mode. Like, that's cool. And, like, he's saying something. Like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He wants to be more than his father's son. But, like, that I said it better than he said it on this album. Like,
yeah,
spoken worded it. Like, that's not what I'm into. And, like, I can see where Matt's coming from, but I don't want to listen to this again.
No.
2.5 stars, like, as a replayability factor, because it's so low, this one's not for me. Like,
well, there's no replayability. I wouldn't listen to this again. It was like, I only listen to it so I can get a little bit more from it, but I don't, in my spare time, I won't be listening to it because it's not an enjoyable listen. It's purely for the concept of the album. It's not for anything else.
Yeah. Like, listening to it from front to back, the whole album, you would listen to this song. But you would never put this in a playlist just to chuck on and relax and listen to. Like, it doesn't do much for me anyway.
True. I think, like, yeah, I agree with both of you on that point. I wouldn't, like, bump this in the whip. But like, it's I'm trying to, like, go into this album from, like, the perspective of Royce wants me to listen to his album in its entirety, and this is obviously a part of it. So, like, if I'm just, like, speaking on what it is and what I think it's tending to be, I think it serves its purpose. So, yeah, like, I feel like maybe I'm being a bit too generous with the 4 stars. It's definitely between a 3 and a 4. the reason I think why I gave it a 4 in the end was because it was cool. It was something that I hadn't heard before on an intro track. And yeah, like I said, I feel like it's setting the tone and the themes for the album. It's not just some pointless intro that like lasts, 30 seconds. Like it's got a purpose behind it. So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that is fair. Well, I think it's time to head into track 2, Dope Man. So, Danny, do you want to kick this one off?
Dope Man, the dopest song on the whole album, baby! Nah, this song is trash, dog! This song is actually trash. This is the worst song on the whole album. It's not even a song. Like, he's doing so many things on this one song, and none of it works. Like, he's got some dude singing for the intro, which is not what I listen to Royce albums or songs for, is for some guy singing. That goes straight into a skit, which is like, it adds nothing. Like, I don't want to listen to a skit on an album either, ever.
Yeah.
Then you get a Royce verse, which is 8 bars long. It's not even a verse. Like, it's not even a song. Like, there's an Ice Cube sample that reminds you every 5 seconds that this song is about a dope man, so thank you. That's interesting. The beat is shit. It's not interesting at all. Yeah, production on the first 2 tracks, I'm not a fan of Royce's production so far. The first two tracks, not into his production. There's one interesting thing at the end, like in the outro of the song, and he says, the government injected crack into my natural habitat, charged me with possession and arrested me for having it after that. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's in the outro. It's not even part of his verse. He just tossed it away.
It's funny because you chose the exact same lyrics as I did when I was like, they've got, like, that was my favorite line, but it was the only line in the whole thing that mattered to me. Like, I agree. I don't know who Eminem is, no hate, but he didn't add anything. It wasn't part of the song. He was singing before a skit. I just thought, if you're going to do a skit, Cedric the Entertainer, who I do like as a actor, he should have gone first. Skits go before a song, not in the middle of a song. It's jarring and it makes no sense. Like, the construction of it just was horrendous. I just didn't understand. If you liked Eminem and then you get ready for Royce, it kind of stops all the momentum you have. And then just that dope man please over and over and over again. I get it.
Dope man. Just so annoying.
It was an annoying voice. Yeah, I hated this too. Like, I gave it 2 stars, which probably upon reflection
1.5. 1.5.
Yeah. I mean, it was bad. It was disappointing at best.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Here we go. No. We're about to get a spanner in the works here. 5 stars for Matt.
No, not at all. This track for me, like, based on what I jotted down, like, there was just something missing here. There's something that wasn't quite right for me. I suggested here, like, maybe it needed a verse from Royce, like, to make it a song, or even a surprise feature from Ice Cube would have been cool. So like respect to him for sampling, obviously a classic NWA hit on this track, but execution wasn't was far from perfect.
You don't get props just for sampling a good artist. You only get props for using a sample in the right way, and he just didn't do it. Like, there's no point taking a sample from Ice Cube to chop it up like that and have it add absolutely nothing and annoy the listener.
True. Look, I think I gave it props because I said that it's a short and sweet track that, interestingly, on like this listen, like the repetitive dope man didn't annoy me for some reason. I said that, I did enjoy like listening to it. Like I said before, though, however, I thought there was something missing or something not quite right about it. I proposed that based on this listen, I feel like this track is setting up the next one. I feel like it's in there to achieve that purpose, but it doesn't necessarily hold any value as a standalone track.
Well, the problem is now you've had an intro that sets up the album, and now a song that is supposed to be setting up the rest of the album. So
yeah, there's a lot of setup going on here.
So yeah, what did you give it in stars?
Based on this listen, I gave it 3, but I feel like that
generous.
Maybe too.
Yeah,
generous.
it is definitely generous.
Yeah,
but I mean, we're on track. Like, you've been at 1 above me the whole time. Danny's been half a star below me the whole time, so it's on track so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Our star rating systems might be different. Like, what I consider a 5-star song may be different to what you consider to be a 5-star song, like the criteria or whatever. So, like, it sounds like we're all so far along the same, on the same page so far.
Yeah.
Well,
star ratings aside,
let's like explain that then. Like, now that you brought it up, let's like you said, Danny, that like your stars is largely based on like replayability.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you like?
Nah, it's
base your star rating off?
Because I rate songs individually. Like, that's different from rating an album. So individually, it's got to be replayability. That's like the biggest factor. So 5 stars is, yes, I want to listen to this song over and over again. Like, 4 stars is close. 4 stars is like, it's almost 5 stars. It's a 4-star song. Like, it's good, but I might get sick of it after, 10 times or whatever. 3 stars is like, it's average. It's an average song that maybe I would listen to while I'm listening to the album, like, all the way through, but there's no way it's going in a playlist. Like, that's just average. 3 stars is average for me. 2 stars is like already trash. 2 stars is trash. like I'm not listening to a 2-star song ever. Not even like listening to an album from front to back. I'm skipping 2-star songs. And then
have you
1
given
star.
out 1 stars very often?
Yeah, like I don't know if I have. Like, 1 star has got to be the worst piece of shit that has ever been recorded and called hip hop. Like that.
Yeah.
It's rare to give a 1-star song. Like, it's got to be bad. It's got to be the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And I don't think I've come across a 1-star song yet, to be honest. But that's my ratings.
Maybe you'd have to go back to our 50 Cent's catalogue to
yeah. I'll find heaps of oneers there. 50's the king of oneers, baby.
Specifically, Get Rich or Die Trying album.
Oh, how dare you. My first love.
Just for the record, I love that album. I love 50 Cent. I just purely said that for comedic value, and I knew Danny would eat that shit up.
Yeah, he has a history of not liking 50 Cent stuff, although I think he's turning slowly.
Yeah, he's not as bad as I thought. He's got good.
Well, I think it's time to move into track 3, I Don't Age.
Yeah, I'm going to kick this one off, boys.
Nah, I'm kicking this off. Move aside, baby.
I'm kicking this off. Move aside.
All I can say is, there it is, boys. The first 5-star track of this album.
Yeah, boy.
So that is a clear 5-star track, in my opinion. Also, I need to reference track 2. Track 2 makes more sense to me now after it was followed up by this banger. It ties in with the sort of the Dope Man theme. Even though track 2 was, like we said, not executed perfectly. I feel like the beat on track 3, I Don't Age, is dope. So is the chorus, the verses from Royce here. I liked it all. I especially enjoyed how seamlessly Royce sort of flowed from the chorus to each verse and then back again throughout this track. It was just like it felt so, it appeared so effortless.
He's done it.
I'm dumb. I butchered that one. It felt so effortless for him, or it felt like, as a listener, it was just easy for him to to perform this song. I felt like he enjoyed performing this song. Noteworthy lyrics on this listen from I Don't Age for me are you in, always sleeping, I'd rather stay woke. They say you are what you eat, but I never ate goats.
Oh, that's the best line ever. The way you deliver that line makes it the best.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So, it's a 5-star track for me, no doubt, and I would absolutely listen to this again. And based on Danny's star rating, it would be going in a playlist.
Use your own ratings.
5 stars.
Danny, what do you think?
I thought this song was mediocre at best. Genuinely, this song was mediocre at best. The beat was again, it's just, well, there's two parts of the beat, isn't there? There's a beat switch. It keeps switching back and forth. One of the beats I'm not a fan of at all, but then there's the beat that kicks in during the verse, product of the dope game. When he says that and the beat kicks in, that's the beat I like.
With the piano.
Yeah. So half the beat I like, half the beat I don't, which is annoying, because then just give me the beat I like the whole time. Royce he's spitting at the end. It takes a bit of a couple of verses to get into it, and then he's really once it's like you said, they say you are what you eat, but I never ate goat. That shit, that's all in the delivery. He killed that. You believe that he's the goat when he says that. The other one is give you L's, gimme O's. The only thing that look good on paper to me is Benji's ho. It's funny. It's funny. He's got some funny lines. So I guess it's a step in the right direction. It's a 3-star song, which is the highest I've given so far, but it's still average. So far I'm really not impressed, but it's going in the right direction, so there is hope, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I am the same with the beat. Give me the beat that I like the whole way through and just add drops. Don't beat change on me to some just, boom bap generic shit that I don't like. As soon as he adds the piano, I'm like, this is really nice. It adds contrast, which is what you want in, your instrumentals. But he just doesn't do that enough. And my favorite line was, "My brethren, I'm not a legend. I'm not a vet. Do not address me as second. I'm the best." It's just a cool line to have.
Yeah.
But he has some little cool stuff here, but the beat, to me, the beat was better than the lyrics, and his flow, again, isn't fantastic here. It's not his signature. It's not smooth for whatever reason. I don't know if he's trying to do something more controlled, but yeah, I just wasn't a huge fan of this either. For me, it was average. I put 3.5 stars as well. That's the highest on this album.
Yeah.
But again, would I listen to this again? Probably not. He's at that point for me where I'm a little bit concerned about where this is heading.
Yeah, definitely.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I thought you guys would eat that up.
Not quite on the same page with that one. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Well, but then again, like you said before, you're speaking from having experience listening to a larger catalogue of Royce's music. So
yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah.
You've got a lot more to compare this song to than I do. So
yeah, there's an ideal Royce that I want to hear. There's a Royce that I love, and this isn't it. It still might be a good Royce, but it's not the specific Royce that I'm looking for, and that's what's bringing the album down a little bit for me. But could be good for you coming in, and this being your first experience. You have no expectations really, so coming in fresh, you definitely get a different perspective. So it's interesting to hear what you say.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm rating these songs, yes, with a bit of history, but at the same time, would I listen to it again? What is my opinion on this song? Take Royce's history out of it, what do I genuinely look for in songs? And for me, it's a lot of sound. And the sound so far hasn't been up to par.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It's no Boom.
No, no.
Definitely
Boom. You can't bring up probably his best song ever.
Definitely his best song. Yeah. Can this be a Boom podcast now? Just talk about the Boom.
We'll have to do a separate one just for Boom. Just for Royce's best.
Tick.
Hey!
Alrighty, track 4, Pendulum. So I'll take the stand on this one.
The Lord swings the pendulum. The Lord swings the pendulum.
Sorry, is that the song or is that you, Danny? I couldn't tell. It sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, this was slower beat again, and he's back to using heavy drums and piano. Like, I love that combo. It's like, a combo that Havoc used in Mob's Deep, Hell on Earth. Like, it's just got that signature sound. That boom bap and piano really works. But then it just feels like it doesn't hit. They're just used separately. Like, there's piano, and then there's boom bap, and then there's piano, and then there's boom bap. And they just never combine that well. It just feels weird. And then the hook, nothing. Literally nothing for me. Like, I got the sense that, like, again, he's too controlled. He's not letting loose, and he's not just going for it. Like, I don't understand why he's all of a sudden speaking so slowly and enunciating every single word. I get it. I can understand what you're saying without you needing to speak really slowly. Like, he just doesn't, his flow's not there. And then, like, he's got Ashley Sorrell, but her voice was actually quite nice. Like, I've almost found her more pleasant to listen to.
Ashley Sorrell, how dare you? She is a legend.
She was better.
I'm talking shit. I don't know who she is.
She was better than Royce, though, on this track. And her rhyming scheme was interesting.
That's controversial.
Because she was like shitting, feelings, reminiscing, went in. She just had that cool rhyming scheme, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that I gave this 2 stars. I really did not love this.
Damn, dog. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Okay.
What did you give it?
He gave it 2 stars.
Yeah, 2 stars.
Wow, that's trash.
That is trash.
Yeah, that's equal to my lowest. That's like Dope Man. I did not like it.
This is the same as Dope Man.
Yeah.
No way.
I did not like it. I don't know what it was. You just didn't hear me. I didn't like listening to it at all.
Wow. Okay. Well, I liked it a lot more than you, Aaron. I thought the beat was simple but effective. The bad part of the song, which stops it from being a 5-star song, is, like you're saying, the hook, like, rob the rich and leave them with the fucking bill. That's interesting. It's an interesting line. But don't say it 100 times in a row.
Yes.
And then he picks up a new saying, and the Lord swings the pendulum. The Lord swings the pendulum. Again and again and again. It's just annoying. Like, so that brings it down. But that's only the hook. I like the beat. He's got some interesting lines, like, started beef on IG and hide behind a meme. Dark secrets, closet probably looking like Halloween. Y'all come out the closet just to market y'all new garbage. I'm inside your bitch apartment. Dick is parked about 9 inches in the carcass. Like, that's nasty, dog. Like, I love that imagery. And he's talking about, rappers are wannabe gangsters these days, and they're beefing on Instagram and beefing with memes and shit. Like, I support Royce's stance on this. Like, if you got beef, take it off of Instagram, take it off of, don't post your funny memes, and take it to a track, like, record something, like, then I'll pay attention. That's what hip hop's about. So I support Royce's stance on that. The feature was okay, like, didn't impress me. Like, it was like a throwaway thing at the end, really. Like, she just came on really late and had a short verse, so, like, didn't really have time to impress me. But the beat was cool. I liked what he was saying. Hook was annoying. 4 stars.
4 stars. It's the highest one.
Yeah. So we're getting there. For me, we're starting to get somewhere. Royce is doing something now.
He's awake. He's woke.
That's it. The beast. Beast is awake.
Oh. I'm questioning my review now.
No, I'm interested. I like having the difference. This is
6
what it's all
stars,
about.
baby. The best song ever made.
He's bloody done it again. Another 5-star track, baby.
Oh, really?
Oh, 5 stars,
So-
generous.
So first thing I notice and love is the keyboard / piano, and the solid beat. It sort of gave me, I don't know, not like the same feeling as like a Dre song, but just anytime I hear a piano, I'm like, oh, it instantly draws me in. Sort of like
This
how
is nowhere close to a Dre song.
I know,
No.
but like I'm just saying, like I was just using the comparison to like how Dre often
You
uses the
associate
piano.
Dr. Dre.
Look, I'm just saying it draws me in and it makes me want to continue listening to the song. I thought it was a solid beat, followed by a catchy chorus that I could see myself singing.
Catchy.
So by the chorus, and when I'm talking about the chorus, I need to like explain. I'm referring to I'm referring to. Oh, I think I got it mixed up actually. I'm referring to that line that you referenced, Danny, that you liked, robbed the rich and living with the fucking bill. I thought that was a part of sort of the chorus of the track, but because it says it on the Genius lyrics that the chorus that includes that. So rob the rich and living with the fucking bill. I like that. That if you're saying that's the chorus, then I thought that was catchy. And I think yes, it is repetitive, like you guys said, but like that is what sticks in your mind then from a song like that like sort of like ingrained into your mind then. So I like that. Also, Royce is, in my mind, straight spitting. In his verses on this track, I said I'm intrigued by the reference to Mark Cuban. I don't know if you boys sort of know who he's talking about there, but I think he's referencing one of the hosts on Shark Tank, who's also an owner of one of the football clubs in America.
Yeah, he's
like
a massive entrepreneur. He's an investor. He's like one of the leading people on, making money. He was also on Entourage season 8, I think it was, or season 9 back. Yeah. He was also on there with Turtle.
All his money on the Entourage cameo.
But no, like I'm intrigued by that reference because I was wondering if he's referring to the Mark Cuban that I'm thinking about. So something I'd look into, because the line is, it says, all your dudes is straight facades. You just lie and scheme. Mark Cuban rounds your shooters. You just buy a team. Started beef on IG and hide behind a meme. Dark secrets. Closet probably look like Halloween. And that line's interesting there because one of the pictures on Shark Tank was a Halloween sort of company that I believe Mark Cuban invested in and promoted on Live Nation, and that sort of has done quite well. So I wonder if he's mentioned that Halloween sort of reference there in relation to an investment that Mark Cuban made. I'm not sure. Like I could be reading into that too much, but yeah, I don't know. That just perked my ears up.
It wouldn't surprise me. Like he's a lyricist. Like he knows his stuff. Like it's not like he's lucky. He credit where credit's due with Royce. When he says something, he does mean to say it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like going back to what I was saying with the catchy chorus, in my opinion, rob the rich and leave him with the fucking bill, and then he's referencing like billionaires like Mark Cuban. Like he's literally saying, "I'm gonna rob Mark Cuban. I'm gonna rob him, and I'll leave him with the bill." Like I think that's cool. Unfortunately, this is where it gets a bit sort of like I don't know. I could take or leave the feature on this track. I just found like it's so like the flow so lethargic, and I don't believe it adds anything particularly exciting to an overall sort of great joint for me. But I still would give it 5 stars. I'd still listen to it again, and keep him coming, Royce.
Oh,
Well, that's why I'm confused. Like, I don't understand how you can say I would leave this part of the song and give it 5 stars.
yeah.
Like, I mean, that's just me personally. I need to take a whole album in it, like whole song, and if I don't like the whole thing, it's not 5 stars. If there's a bit that I would change, it's not 5 for me.
Like the second half of the song was trash. 5 stars.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I think maybe I was like, maybe I'm in lust with like the first part of the song and like just some of the lines he makes, and I'm like, and I like I said, I like the beat. Like, there's more that I like about this song than that I don't like. However, you are right. Maybe it's more worthy of a 4-star track on sort of my next listen. But this is like I said, this is just going off what I thought on that listen, and yeah, I like the song.
Fair. All right. Track 5, I Play Forever.
Who's kicking it off?
You can.
I'll kick shit off then. I like the beat. Good beat. Royce is now doing some cool production. I've never heard of Graph before. I don't even know how to say it. Graph, the feature. But I like him. I like him a lot. I like what he does. He's got really cool flows. He's talking about some interesting shit. Like, for example, I wasn't in Aruba on the mini scooter or licking hooters with a spliff of Buddha. I was in the inner city sewer, underground dirty in the manure, clipping the Ruger because I was raised different than you were. So, like, I just like, he's flowing. He's doing, like, what Royce should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But Royce is doing interesting things here, too. I don't think it works, though. I think it comes off really goofy to me, the shit he's doing. Like, all the doo-doo rhymes. Yeah. Like, that's embarrassing in a way. Like, rhyming everything with doo-doo? Like, that's corny as...
The rhyme soon... in this song is shit.
Yeah. And he doesn't even stop there. Like, once the doo-doos are finished, then he starts going on with the dogs for the whole... just so annoying, distracting.
Yeah.
How
the bloody dogs out.
Yeah, correct. But I still like it. I still like the song. Like, Royce is doing really goofy, weird shit, but Graph was really cool. Beat was good. I like listening to it, so it's 4 stars for me.
So I think that's very generous because that annoyed the hell out of me because I was just like, I like that jazz vibe. Like, I like the beat here and it has potential. And then, like, I like the rhyming scheme of Graph. Like, he does do a good job, but then that Roy shit just annoyed me. The doo-doo and the dog, it literally made me so annoyed because he did it the whole time. Like, it's not like it's a small portion of the verse. How many lines did he have? He goes from dog to dog. Like, I get it. Like, I understand, but he's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Like, it's crazy how many lines he ends with dog.
Yeah.
It just annoyed me. It's not smart. For someone who I credit as being smart, distracted me the whole time. Like, he didn't need it. And as a result, I gave it 2.5 stars.
Ooh.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Like, and it might be harsh, but it seemed like a cheat way out. And like, I love a jazz beat. It's really nice. It's really pleasant, but he's got to deliver here. There's just something missing in the whole song again.
Controversial.
I'm with Aaron. Yeah.
How
3 stars. 3 stars for me. I basically said, like, slowing things down here on this track. And unfortunately, I can't say I'm a fan of how it's sort of delivered here. This song has a lullaby effect on me.
Oh, damn. Damn, dog.
And I attribute this to
Are you saying this song is doo-doo?
I am. I'm saying it's doo-doo.
I'm saying it's poo-poo.
Whoa, that's right.
You know, that lyric would go perfectly in this song.
Call up Royce. Let's call it.
So I attribute this to the toned down beat, repetitive rhyme schemes, and lackluster chorus. For me, on this listen, Royce lifted the track because I did not like the feature. He lifted it with his lengthy single verse. However, I'm not sure if that will be enough to elevate me from my slumber in this track.
Dang.
That's hard, but
I wouldn't listen to, like I've said 3 because like it's like average or slightly above average, but I don't think I'd listen to it again based on like how I rate songs. If it's a 4-star, like I would probably listen to it again. Obviously, if it's a 5, I definitely would. But yeah, 3 is just like, yeah, it's average, and I can find something that I like in the song. But overall, it's not like it's not for me. If I'm going below 3 stars, like a 2 or a 1, there's like I probably can't find something I like in the song. So yeah, therefore it's below average for me.
All right, next song, the Ice Cream Interlude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this, there's not much to say. Like, for me personally, I just thought it was interesting. I didn't know that it came from like a racist song.
Yeah.
I just thought it was cool. Like, that was just my take. Just cool. I'm learning something. Props to Royce. This is a skit that I'm like, I like this here because it's not wasted.
Yeah. Well, I never like a skit, really. Like, it's interesting, definitely. Like, I didn't know that the Ice Cream Truck song is a racist song. But I don't want to hear a skit ever. Like, I listen to music. I don't listen to like stand-up comedy. I didn't download a stand-up comedy album. Like, which skit? These aren't. But usually skits in hip-hop albums are like trying to be funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I like music. So I want to hear music. So don't waste a minute of your album just like with like a, little skit. Like, no. Just no skits for me. Thank you.
Send him a letter. Matt, what did you think?
I feel like the majority of like the hip hop community would probably agree with you, Danny, on skits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love having them there. It's not like when I like a new album comes out, I'm like, oh, what are the skits? Like, it's like, oh, I can't wait to hear this skit.
Name your favorite skit, Matt. What's your favorite skit?
Oh, that's album? A good question. Because there are some good ones.
My favorite skit on this album.
Any album.
On any album ever.
Oh,
every Eminem skit ever made.
Yeah, no.
Ken Kenneth, yeah.
Eminem does have funny skits. Like,
he actually does. His relapse skits. His relapse skits though. But like Tanya leading into whatever. Like, those are genuinely. That's a time where I actually listen to the skit before I listen to the song. Like,
well, even on Music to Be Murdered By, like, his skits there, like, were cool because it had Alfred Hitchcock like saying the shit, like, and obviously he's like passed away, so he's using like the stuff he said, when he was alive. And I don't know, I just think like for me, a skit is like Aaron said in relation to this skit. If it adds value to the track, then I don't mind it, and I don't mind it being there. In some cases, I might even say I like the skit because, again, like Aaron said, it teaches me something that I didn't know, and I think.
Yeah, but are you listening to this? Are you listening to music albums to learn things you didn't know? Like,
no, I'm listening to the album as an experience, as you would if you were watching a movie. You'd sit down and you'd watch the whole movie, and yes, there would be parts that are maybe you'd question whether or not they should be there or they shouldn't, but you wouldn't like fast forward that part. You would watch the whole movie. So therefore, like, I'm listening to this whole album, balls and all. I
don't think that's what Royce intended, to be honest.
No, I don't think so.
And I comments on this skit. I liked it. Like I said, I think it adds value to the album. It made me laugh. In terms
because
of the
racism is hilarious.
no. Let me clarify. In terms of the Tinder reference at the end, I thought that was a bit sort of humorous. But the main things I liked from this interlude were the definition of an allegory, which ties in with the obviously the title of the album, as well as, like you boys said, the Ice Cream Truck song Origin, and that connects with the themes of the album. So, yes, it's no Tonya, but it does what it needs to do for
That's not my
this
answer,
album.
by the way. Not my answer. My answer is not Tonya is the best skit of all time. It's probably that Wu-Tang one where Method Man is like,
Yeah.
I'll sell your asshole clothes to keep feeding you and feeding you. Like, I'll listen to that shit all day long. Everything on the Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, all those skits, those are classic. That's probably...
Sorry,
But this one is, it's just cool, this. Like, this is just, like, I listened to it and I was like, cool. I'd skip it now. But at the time, first listen, I'm like, all right, this is quite cool. This is actually interesting. I'm glad I listened to this. Like, I don't have a rating for it because I don't think it deserves one. But, like, I'm just like, oh, cool. Next. I'm looking forward to the next song, especially considering it's got Primo on it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I gave it 4. I gave it 4 stars. I think the fine thing of sound skits is I think it, for me, it breaks up the songs. Like, it gives you sort of like a little intermission between a song, like to prepare yourself to like reposition yourself to get a, like, quick snack or like have a little drink. Like, I don't know, like, it just, I like them. So, yeah, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to Primo, track 7, On the Block. Like, I don't know about you boys, but I was excited to listen to this. Like, when I saw the track list, I was like, yeah, this is, pencil that in. This one with the Crooked Eye song or King Crooked track were like my 2 that I was looking forward to the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start with the scratch and you're like, yep, this is Primo. I know, like, he has that signature sound. But, like, with Royce, I feel like he loses here. His flow's not that good. Again, it's slow, and yes, it's methodical, and yes, it's calculated, but it's not that good. I mean, he has that cool line, which is, we collect bones where blood is drawn and slugs is blown. We catch bodies where drugs is thrown, here for the throne. Like, it's okay, but, like, Osmond Benjamin's flow is much better. Like, it's so smooth, it's so easy to listen to, and his lines, like, he has a line, like, lines invested in quarters, and Marvelverse, Capcom, see my turn, Mega Man, since 11, never seen him caught without a firearm in his palm. You would think they connected. Whoa. I just found Royce lackluster here. I don't know. Like, in his last verse, like, he's yet to impress me that much, especially when he goes up against a guy who's actually willing to flow. I gave this one 3 stars, like, average.
Oof.
And the beat was okay, but it wasn't like a classic Primo beat. Like, it didn't have that same flavor.
Well, it's not a Primo beat.
Well, he had his, like, touch on it, but it was just like, you tease me with a touch, but I don't get what I was hoping for, which is, unfortunately for Royce, Boom. Like, Boom is where he's...
But this is not a Primo beat, though. Like, Royce produced the entire album. This is... Primo only did the scratches. That's all he did. He just did the Mobb Deep samples and stuff. That's all he did. And I knew he was going to do that. Well, yeah, like, you saw DJ Premier and you wanted a DJ Premier produced track, and that was never going to happen. Not for this album, anyway.
But that's the problem with putting DJ Premier on your artist.
Yeah, but I think you expected too much.
Maybe, but and I probably did, but at the same time, when you put DJ Premier on there and then you start with the scratches, you're like, okay, what am I in for? But then it just doesn't deliver on expectation, in my opinion. Yeah. And it's probably an issue of expectation versus reality.
Yeah. I really like this song. Yeah, you go.
2 things on Aaron's point there. One, I think you're right about, like, the expectation. Like, if you saw Dr. Dre on an album, like produce an album, you'd have that expectation that I'm going to get banging beats. Like, and if they're not there, then you feel like you've been cheated a bit. So, like, I agree with Aaron about the DJ Premier point. Like, don't put his name there if I'm not going to get a banging DJ Premier beat.
No, that's not fair, though. That's not fair. Everyone knew going into this that Royce is producing the entire thing, and Primo's just there to support. He's just there to, do some scratches. It's not fair.
My second point, though, then is, well, that's pretty much what M is, like, saying in all of his shit lately. Like, stop looking at my track list and, like, judging it. Just listen to my bloody song, and if you like it, great. If you don't, fuck off. Like, don't give a shit. Like, that's what he's saying. Stop putting these expectations on the artists that I choose to put on my album, or the people who I get to produce it. It is what it is, and this is what I think is dope at the time. So, like it or piss off.
Well, my opinion was that this song was average, so that's my opinion on it. Like, I gave it 3 stars. But, like, it's okay. Like, everything has been kind of okay, leaning towards less than okay, but this was okay.
Well, I like this song a lot more than you. This is probably the best song so far. And it's not quite 5 stars. It's nearly 5 stars. Like, yeah, Royce producing, like, it's decent. The beat's decent. It's not a DJ Premier beat. I will say, like, yeah, if you're going to have DJ Premier on the album, make him produce the song, but that's not what this album is about, so fine, I'll give him a pass. The Mobb Deep sample is always cool, because Mobb Deep is the best, is the greatest duo of all time, so I'm never mad to hear Mobb Deep. Yeah, so the beat's still good, and I like what Royce does on here. Like, he's doing the braggadocious thing, which I love that shit. Like, I'm the lyrical audio version of Mona Lisa, recorded to tape, though. Mama didn't give birth to me, she just aborted the golden ratio. That's sick. And then he's like, I'm cold enough to go on a date with the 8th of December. When I'm finished, make the rest of the winter pay for the dinner. Like, that's
You stole my line.
Yeah.
You stole my line.
Because I can find the best lines, baby. Yeah, like, I love braggadocious rap is my favorite style of rap, when rappers just say, why they're the greatest of all time, why they're the best, and just going way over the top. Like, no, winter's not actually going to pay for your dinner, but it's funny as hell. And then this Oswin Benjamin, never heard of him, but he's cool. He raps well. Speaking on the black experience, growing up without fathers, being raised by TV, toting guns, like, it's an interesting perspective, and he raps well. There's a beat switch at the end, which was, like, not that good. Like,
yeah, it did nothing.
No, and like, why switch the beat to a worse beat at the end of the song? Like, keep the momentum going. You've got a decent beat. Don't change it to a worse beat.
But Royce has a habit during this album to do beat switches.
Yeah, he does that. Yeah. It's in fashion, I think. I think people like to do that these days in hip-hop. But, yeah, it didn't work this time. Sometimes it works. Didn't work here. But overall, Royce is spitting. He's doing what I like him to do, which is be braggadocious. Decent feature, decent beat. It's almost a 5-star song. I'll give it 4.5 stars, baby.
Yeah, 4 for me. A solid all-round track. Royce and, how do I say the feature's name? Oswin,
I think.
Oswin? Yeah, I'm guessing.
Okay. Royce and Oswin's flows I thought were excellent and had me actually bobbing my head along to their lyrics, complemented by the simple yet effective beat and chorus, and I would listen to this track again, 4 stars.
I take your points. I think problem was my expectations. But moving on to the next track, track 8, Generation is Broken.
Oh, this is a banger, yo. This is a banger.
Another interlude. The only thing I thought about this was I like the soul sample.
This slaps, dude. This absolutely slaps. No, it's
I'm confused by this skit. Like, it's so short, and I'm not sure it's a necessary like addition to the album. It is most likely like a lead-in. I'm feeling to the next track, but I wasn't impressed by it.
No.
The title of it is "Generation is Broken." My title is "This Skit is Broken."
Whoa!
That's funny.
Royce
Two stars.
2 stars? No
Trash.
stars.
No stars. Yeah, I didn't rate this.
No stars ever. No.
Yeah, I probably was too generous there. I could have gone less stars.
Oh god. Nah, not necessary. This is 100% take this off the album and makes it a better album.
All right. Moving on. Let's not give too much time to an unnecessary interlude. Track 9, Overcomer. Matt, do you want to lead this off?
Sure. I've got to read this. I just said, ooh, there is something or some things scrum diddly-umptious about this track that had me eating that shit up. It said, from the soulful sample playing on repeat in the background to Westside Gunn's cool, calm, and collected verse that you just know is building to that beat drop, then finally Royce's meaningful lyrics and that serve this song up on a silver platter. Grade A meat, something delicious.
Whoa, good.
I'm intrigued. I knew you'd like that. I said I'm intrigued by Royce's verse in particular, as he spits some shit about Yellow Wolf that I need to investigate. Also, I'm beginning to appreciate just how much of a talented wordsmith Royce is. There are so many bars of his with profound meanings behind them that you want to listen to tracks like this again to try and understand what he's getting at. I love Overcomer on this listen, and therefore Royce has earned himself his third 5-star track on this album.
I love your reading. You're such a good reader.
You are a good reader.
I had to read that. I had to read that because, like, that I don't know. I just like how I put that together.
5-star reading. 5-star reading.
Yeah, cheers.
Aaron, go.
Well, I was going to throw it to you.
Okay. Well, yeah, I loved not the song per se, but I love the sample. Like over and over again. I loved it. It didn't need the drums to work. Like, it was really good without the drums. In fact, like, the drums detracted for me. Like, when the drums kick in at the end of Westside's verse, like, it's the drums are weird. Like, it sounds like offbeat and like distorted, kind of. Like, I don't know, the drums ruined it a little bit because the loop was so good. Westside Gunn is like the most annoying verse. I mean, no, not the most annoying verse. The most annoying voice.
Yeah.
In hip hop. But I'm growing to like it, and he's really good on this song. Like, his lyrics are just grimy street shit. It's funny, like pistol in your mouth like a root canal. That's funny. Came home scrambling. All you heard was an ambulance. Somebody got hit on the corner doing hand-to-hands. Like, that's just grimy shit. That's just like. That's why I loved Mobb Deep. That's why Mobb Deep and Prodigy is the greatest of all time to me. And these Griselda boys, like Westside Gunn, Conway, and Benny the Butcher, all the Griselda boys who all feature on this album, that's the kind of shit that I want to see more of in hip-hop. Like, I'm one of those dudes who's like, less mumble rap, more grimy street shit.
Like, I've done a little bit of research on the Yellow Wolf beef, and he I wasn't finished. Oh, you weren't finished?
No.
Well, I'll let you continue.
Sweet. Yeah, so the three of them, Benny the Butcher, Conway, Westside Gunn, like, that's the kind of shit that I love these days. Like, grimy street shit. And Westside brings that on this track. The others bring it on their tracks. The hook isn't really... It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, we did was slang dope. Oh, we did was slang dope. Like, that's annoying.
Well, his hooks haven't been good this whole album.
No, it's like the Eminem syndrome. He's hanging around Eminem too much.
That's actually true. That's a good point.
Yeah, they're yeah. Royce has shit hooks, so does Eminem. But yeah, hook is shit. But then the beat resets for Royce back to the drumless loop, and then it's good again. Then it's sick, and yeah, like you were saying, like Royce's beef with Yellow Wolf.
Yeah,
Aaron wants to speak on. Aaron, speak on it.
Yeah, so the beef, there's actually not much about it. Royce said that it was something that like happened behind closed doors, and that Royce said that it was just something he didn't find respectful, and that he took offense to it, and how it was handled. But he said that he didn't really want to explain what happened because he didn't want to publicly imply and use this song and this album as a vehicle to push the album. Like, he didn't want this album to become about the beef and a reason for people to listen to it. He just wanted the messaging behind it. So he hasn't actually said what Yellow Wolf did. Apparently Yellow Wolf knows what he did. But yeah, I haven't heard anything else other than that. But I mean, the irony is that you say you're not a vindictive person, you say that you don't do that stuff, but then you mention it on a song anyway, kind of is contradictory. If you don't want to talk about it, then don't put it on your album.
Yeah.
Like,
and it kind of like stuck out. It's definitely like caught my ear as soon as he started mentioning Yellow Wolf. I was like, oh, like it's juicy. Like it picks up my attention. And like, I'm pretty sure Royce was on the Joe Budden podcast and he said it's something to do with Yellow Wolf is like a racist. Like he did some racist shit. And like,
yeah, he did. You're right, because it's on Genius. It said,
yeah, go on.
Well, Royce is actually quoted here on Genius. It says, Royce directly addresses former collaborator and ex-label mate Yellow Wolf in an episode of the Joe Budden podcast. Royce explained why he felt the need to call him out. And this is from Royce. It said, it's a situation going on, especially in hip-hop. We have all kinds of different people, but we have a type of person in particular. We have white people who come into the business and they use the culture, which we got a very open culture, like it's here for everybody to thrive. You got some white people that come in, they use that, and then they go and do evil things behind closed doors, very evil, racist things behind closed doors. They make comments and stuff like that. And I just got to a point in life where it's like if I see or if I hear about it or if I'm involved in it in any kind of way, I have to start holding these people accountable, because if you don't, the cycle just continues. And then it carried on to say, in a now deleted Instagram post, Yellow Wolf responded to the song, this song that Royce has done, and he responded with the caption, "Sold out Fillmore in Detroit, but numbers do lie, don't they, Royce? Yo, Eminem, get your hype man before the Wolves do. I ain't worried." To which Royce responded with an Instagram post himself.
That's so cool. Because Royce was complaining about Instagram beefs as well. That's embarrassing.
That is bad, actually. Now that
The thing is, like, I'm a fan of calling people out for their behavior, but he doesn't say what he did. It's hard to be like, I believe, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to weigh in on the beef and go, you did the right thing, or whose corner you're in, because it's he said, she said, but, you know, there's no facts as to what he did. If Yellow Wolf was racist, I 100% agree with Royce.
Yeah.
But you don't know to what extent any of this is, so it's hard to be like, oh, you can't do that or you can't say that. And, like, I love Royce way more than I do Yellow Wolf, and I'll give Royce the benefit of the doubt in this, that Yellow Wolf probably did do some shit that is offensive. An offense is taken, not given. So I guess, you know, Royce is in a position where, you know, if he did feel offended, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I also feel like it's kind of on some, like, 50 Cent shit where it's like he's just beefing as, like, a promotional tool. Like, I feel like he's calling out Yellow Wolf because it's going to spark up some controversy, and, like, people will start thinking, you know, let's listen to the album and see what else he's got to say about Yellow Wolf, which is nothing. So it's just like a bait, really. So I don't really like it, to be honest. I think it's just like a bait. It's like, look at me, I'm fake beefing with Yellow Wolf, so listen to my album, get more. I don't know. I don't like it really. It's like like it perks my ears up when I hear it, but there's no substance to it, and there's nothing to it. So I don't know. Go Matt.
I think I agree with you. I think if you're gonna beef, like if you're gonna say some shit, then like do it properly. Like, and we all know Eminem's like obviously the king of that. Like if anyone was to beef, like, you know, and like just annihilate who they're beefing with, it's Eminem. So like, I don't think Eminem would ever do like a fake beef. If he's in, he's all in. So like, you know, speaking on this, Royce, if you're gonna call Yellow Wolf out and say this shit, like, don't do a little tokenistic line saying, Yellow Wolf, this is your first and last pass. Like, fucking say the shit if you're man enough to say it and like call him out in your song. Don't just Yeah, and then I didn't know about the Instagram thing. I don't know like how credible this genius source is, but then to say that, which Royce responded in the Instagram post himself, and then in his album he says, don't hide behind like Instagram, don't be a sort of a keyboard warrior. Well, like, it seems like you in your past have gone and done that yourself.
Yeah, so, hypocrite.
But I mean, back to this song, like, you know, apart from that, which we took a massive detour, but, you know, everyone's interested by it, but, you know, the song to me was still 4 stars. Same. I love that sample, and, you know, a vocal sample's always nice, but, yeah, the hook, it just ruins there's, like, points in this album where he's overcomplicating things, and there's points where he's oversimplifying. That I haven't seen a balance yet of the two, which is, I think, what I'm missing. But, you know, Westside Gun, his voice, I wrote his voice can definitely get annoying, but he sounded really good. Like, despite his, like, you know, even though his voice is annoying, he sounded good. Royce sounded good here. I just wish that hook wasn't there in the same way. But, yeah, 4 stars. I think this is the best song so far, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Close to it.
Just like on last thing before we like go on. So is Yellow Wolf not signed to Shady Records anymore?
Don't know. I think he is. It's news to me if he isn't.
Not sure.
So it's beef with Royce he has, not with Eminem.
No, definitely not. Eminem's not taking sides in this.
Yeah, Eminem's got enough shit on his plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, 4 stars from me as well.
4 stars. Okay, so we were similar there. I mean, I'm generous as usual, gave it 5, but you both said it was a good track as well, so similar sort of page.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, track 10, Miss Grace. So, I mean, like, you know...
Yeah, go on.
Again, you know, good, like, similar to the opening track, you know, he's got the firearm test with Miss Grace. Again, the comment on what, you know, their worth and the comment on firearm violence, like, it fits in with theme, but again, like, you know, I think we've touched on it enough in terms of skits. Like, next.
I have nothing to say. It's a skit. Next.
I have something to say. I think it ties in nicely with Mr. Grace. You know,
you think?
He's now speaking to his daughter. Yeah, he's speaking to his daughter. I
don't see the connection.
There is a connection that I'm going to explain by the end of track 22.
He's talking shit.
No, I'm not talking shit.
I'm saying Danny's talking shit.
This skit is 4 stars for me because I gave Mr. Grace 4 stars as well because I thought it was something like different. Now I probably could slip down to 3 because he's already done that with Mr. Grace.
But skit 4 stars.
Yeah, I gave it 4 stars because remember, I'm not saying this is a song that I'm going to listen to again, but I'm judging it on like skit value. Like this is a nice tie-in to Mr. Grace, and I feel it adds value to the album. Like it's continuing, like Aaron said, the theme of the album, and I think it has like a deeper message behind it. If you really listen to like what he's like saying. Like to his daughter, it's like a beautiful and sad moment of the album for me, because like beautiful in the sense that the father is sharing his knowledge and skills with his daughter, but also sad because it's like he shouldn't be sharing this type of knowledge and skill, or he shouldn't have to share this type of knowledge and skills with his daughter. Like, it's sad that the world is at a point where he thinks it's necessary to do so to give her like a better life or a better shot at life. So it's like, I don't know, I feel like it's quite a deep skit. Like, because like the first one with Mr. Grace was like, oh shit, like this is like, okay, like this is different. Like, and then now with Miss Grace, it was like, it really got me thinking about what he's saying to his kids. Like, this is like, this could be shit that like is actually said to the kids that live today. So it's like, I don't know. I think this is some real shit in this skit. So that's why I gave it 4.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I would just. Yeah, I think we've said enough about it. Like, it's not long to really merit much more discussion.
Yeah.
So, track 11, Thou Shall,
featuring Kid Vicious,
the man we met.
Oh yeah, got a photo with.
Yeah.
We're basically
so
best
good.
buddies, to be honest.
This track for me.
Do you think he remembers us?
I doubt it. I mean, I hope he does, because, we're memorable, but I doubt it.
Does he know who we are? Slim Fitty and Biggie.
He'll know now.
Oh, yeah. He's going to recommend this to all his friends.
Boy, Kid Vicious, if you're tuning into this podcast, make sure you leave a comment or a like, or some sort of recognition that you're feeling what we're saying. But yeah, no, like Kid Vicious, shout out to you for this track. This is for me like a typical sort of lyrical delight on the ears. I feel like Royce and Kid Vicious are both spitting on this track. I would rate it a 5-star track for me because they're just rapping, like they're just going at it. I think, to be honest, like it's splitting hairs between Royce and Kid Vicious in terms of who's got this track. Like, I don't know, I'd have to listen to it again. I'd want to listen to it again, and I think last thing I'd say is, thanks for shout out to Kid Vicious for agreeing to take a photo with us. If your Kid Vicious comments on this podcast, I'll attach the photo as evidence.
What did you think, Danny?
Yeah, this is like, once again, this is exactly what I like. Braggadocious rap. They're both going hard. Like, this is super close to a 5-star song. I love the beat, actually. Like, the beat, it like reminds me of like a spaghetti western, like with the high pitched whistles and shit, like some Good, Bad, the Ugly type shit. Like, and like I love the Good and the Bad, the Ugly, so like that just hit my sweet spot. Royce, he's got some pretty good buzz. I don't care if you rap people is trending topic, your shit is garbage. You couldn't make a classic out of that trash if you had Brenda drop it.
Yeah. I chose that line as well.
So he's spitting. Then Kid Vicious comes on. Possibly he might have won the track, to be honest. Kid Vicious may have beaten Royce on this one.
I think he did.
Yeah. He's just like even more braggadocious than Royce is. Like, say goodbye to the good guy. I hot-boxed on your block and I got the whole hood high. That is hilarious. Like, that imagery alone, like, that wins the verse for me. Like, that wins the track.
So what'd you give it in the end?
4.5. I don't know what it's missing. Maybe I have to go back and revisit it, because I did listen to this album 2 months ago and wrote most of my thoughts about it a long time ago. And maybe it's a 5-star song, but I'm going to say it's 4.5 for now. And might have to revisit it.
Yeah, because to me, because I gave it 4 stars, but I gave it 4 based on just the beat was a little bit too minimalist for me. Like, just a touch. There's just something missing. I don't know what it is. It was just a little bit too bare. And I think Kid Vicious did a better job. I just think that his flow was a little bit better. His lines were really funny. I really liked him on it. And that violin before Kid Vicious was really nice. It was just like a nice jumping off point. Like, I just wish the violin was there for longer. Whenever they use like really light instruments, I just want them to to be in this track for longer or be there more frequently, sometimes they're just not there enough. But yeah, I thought it was 4 stars. I thought it was a good song. Yeah, I would listen to that again.
Yeah. Kid Vicious is Royce's brother, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, how nice is that last line, or those last lines that Kid Vicious says, I know where I'm headed, I don't need the Reverend. Royce gave me the keys to the lab. Royce gave me access to the lab, I got the key to heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just like a little sort of respect moment from Kid Vicious to Royce there, like saying, like, thanks for looking out for your brother, like, you know.
And he has, like, Royce has looked out for him. He's put him on almost all of his solo albums.
Yeah.
Takes him out on tour. He's his hype man. Like, he really looks out for Kid Vicious. So, yeah, it's good to see. And it's good to hear Kid Vicious, you know, saying something about Royce as well.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Kid Vicious for his shout out to Eminem. We on tour with Eminem, baby. That's shady.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Track 12. Fubu.
Yeah. This song's trash, yo. This song is absolute trash.
Well.
Go, Danny. Keep going.
That was a joke. This song's a banger.
It's good.
Oh, good.
This song is a banger.
I was worried for a second.
Yeah.
This song is the best song on the album so far. This is 5 stars.
Aaron, do you agree?
I'll let you know. I don't agree. I think it's 4 stars, but
Ooh.
Danny, what do you think? I think.
I don't know, 5 stars?
Yeah, it's a 5 for me.
No.
Right, keep going.
Yeah. Like, Conway is a beast. He's a monster. He's possibly my favorite, but it's definitely between him and Benny the Butcher, out of Griselda anyway. So grimy. He's just the grimiest dude. His verse is pretty short though, like, so he doesn't really get a lot of time to like make a mark, but he still does. Like, for example, like, they know this extendo we got on us. Can't name a time when it's not on us. Hope they try robbing us so they can go back and tell people about all these bullets they got from us. Like, it's street shit, and that's what I want to hear. And
100%.
They do it so well. The Griselda boys do street shit like no one else. But this is the Royce da 5'9" show. He kills it for the first time on the album. Like, 12 tracks in, and now we get the Royce we've been waiting for. Like, he's got bars and he's flowing. I love his verse. He goes hard. His verse is like twice, if not 3 times longer than Conway's. So it like blows him out of the water. It's not even fair. But then he starts saying, so there was a lot of controversy about this anti-vax line.
Yeah.
I picked up on that too. Yeah,
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Like, so I know what it's about.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about it? Because I don't know anything. I just heard the line and I was like, what's this shit?
Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. He says, my son got autism from injection by syringes. So he thinks, you know, vaccines give you autism.
Which is not true, but anyway.
Yeah, he's anti-vax. So even though this verse is like the best verse on the album, actually, I'm speaking too soon. It's not the best on the album.
Spoiler alert.
But then there's this one little line that's really annoying, and it's an anti-vax line in the middle. It's just weird because, like, I love Royce. He's such a good rapper. And, like, coming out as an anti-vaxxer, it, like, slightly ruins his image in my eyes. Like, maybe he's not as wise as I want him to be. So it's kind of, like, slightly ruining his image. However, like, I'm not going to let one line ruin an otherwise great song. Like, the whole verse is fire except for that. So this is 5 stars. Just like that line, though, is take that out. But
whack.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, to be fair, though, like, I do follow Royce on Instagram, and he does have posts about, like, you know, how there were, back in the day, I don't know how long ago, like, history in the American civil rights movement, like the African American civil rights movement, isn't that good. But he's definitely had posts about them being like injected with like they've been told it's one thing but given something else. Like he's definitely posted that kind of stuff, and like I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah,
I just
definitely
don't agree in this particular case. I think it's annoying because it overshadows when it shouldn't. But as you said, this is the first song where he goes for it, and this is what I like Royce for. Like the exact thing that he did here is what I want to hear constantly. I'm annoyed it took 12 tracks to get it. Like I'm annoyed it's 12 songs in, but I love the line, triple threat, bitch. I make the track, I write. The judge can't give me life, bitch. I am life.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, shit. And the way he delivers it is so good.
It's good. Like, yeah, I gave this 4 stars. I think the hook is a bit boring. That's probably why. And just lands a little bit flat. Again, like, you know, my opinion is if I would change something, it's not 5 stars, so I'd give it 4.
Damn, that's controversial.
Yeah, I agree with you, Aaron. I think the hook or the chorus was like, I felt it was a bit tokenistic. Like it was just like there. I don't know. It didn't really serve the purpose I feel like a chorus should. Yeah, but despite that, I still like would give it 5 stars. It would pump in the whip. It was a Slaposaurus Rex, if anybody heard one. I really like Conway the Machine, and of course Royce's verses. Like their flows are crystal clear. Again, picking up on what Danny said, that line, that autism line, just I don't know, it rubs me up the wrong way. However, I did like lines like "Bearing My Soul," DiCaprio from The Revenant. Like I don't know, he had a lot of like throughout this album, he has quite a lot of like movie references, like in his raps, which I like. And like Danny mentioning before with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, like obviously he's not sort of referencing that movie, but he has sort of like I don't know
influences.
Yeah, that's right. I feel like he's influenced by movies, which I like because so am I. I thoroughly enjoyed the hard-hitting beat, flows, the lyrics. But it was at this point I thought in my review of the album that I started to think, am I being too generous with my ratings of the tracks? Because obviously I gave it another 5-star. Like it's another 5-star track for me, but I said only time will tell, or our Skype meeting, I guess. But it's nice to hear that you boys are sort of on a similar page with this track as
I just think that you were too generous early. I don't necessarily think you're wrong here. I just think you were too nice too soon. And so now, in comparison, when you're hearing a better song, you have no choice but to give this 5 stars. Because you've rated worse songs 5 stars. You've almost fallen victim to, you've gone too far. So now you don't have a choice. Yeah. Whereas if you left a little
Matt's going to get his own 6-star system. He's going to work on 6 stars. We're both going to be fine.
Yeah, correct.
Aaron, you haven't even given a 5-star song yet.
No, I haven't.
Hey, this album is trash.
If this was Get Rich or Die Trying, it'd just be like, you get a 5, you get a 5.
Yeah, well, Dr. Dre produced a lot of that, so,
True.
Actually, I'd be interested to revisit that album and see just how many 5-star tracks you have on that album.
Yeah. There'd be a lot. Yeah, hell of
that. But yeah, good track. Moving on to track 13, A Black Man's Favorite Shoe. Like, I'm just going to say we should skip talking about this. It did nothing.
Wait, Matt's got something.
No, hard shit to listen to on this skit, and not something that I would listen to again, unless it feeds into the next track in an essential sort of way. I do, however, understand that this skit's content does relate to the themes explored in the album, but again, I feel like it's a skipperoo.
Skipposaurus.
It's definitely a skipperoo. Track 14, Upside Down. I actually like this beat. Another vocal sample. You vocal sample and you get into my heart. It's just like it's your sneak way in. Any vocal sample will go well, but Ashley Sorrell again on another track. I'm surprised by that, but she's like pleasant to listen to. No idea. Like I have no background as to who she is or what she's done before, but pleasant enough. And then Royce has a nice flow again. Like, he's finally got a little bit of rhythm in the nice flow. But he's kind of moved away from that gangster shit. Like, he has that cool line of sitting high up on them tires on my high horse, I'm Django. Obviously reference to Django Unchained. But I think
reference.
Yeah,
I think Benny the Butcher was the best on this. He was great. He was he just sounded so fluent, and it sounded so easy. Like that line, jail, backstabbing to hell, I took a consequence, a yard big enough at the crib to bury hostages. Boom. Like, that's just gangster shit. Like, he just delivers lines that are grimy and really good to listen to. I gave this 4.5 stars.
Whoa.
I think just Royce, for whatever reason, just hasn't been hitting the peak. Like, he's just leaving something in the tank. I don't know what it is. And then
He hit it before. He hit it on the previous track, Fubu.
Yeah, but that track wasn't perfect.
But he was.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't, I don't think he has been, you do, track 12, first song where you do something that I'm really impressed by. Yeah. And it's it's now track 14, and Benny the Butcher beats him on it, in my opinion.
Yep.
I think that he's unfortunately here left the run to, against a guy who's on fire, getting a lot of credit in the game at the moment, and a guy who's talking gangster shit, whereas Royce is more talking about meaningful stuff. He's never going to come out ahead on that level then. It's like a losing, he's never going to win that fight. But having said that, 4.5 stars, it's a good song. I would listen to that again for sure, but Benny the Butcher is probably the reason why. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said pretty much, Aaron, there in my looking at the notes. I just said it's getting bloody ridiculous for me now because it's another 5 stars.
Hey, this is the greatest album of all time.
I thought, at this stage point in the album, I was like, shit, what's my overall score going to be? But just wait until you see. I said another
5-star song, 5-star song, overall album, 2 stars.
Yeah, 2 stars, crash. Wouldn't listen to it again.
I love Royce's real shit. Again, he's on white kids graduate to relationships with a ton of perks. Black kids just aggravated and had to take a ton of perks. Obviously it's not like a super complex rhyme, but the meaning behind it, I don't know. I thought it was it caught my attention. I'm assuming that when he says black kids just aggravated and had to take a ton of perks, we're talking about perk sets.
Yeah, but it's I get it, but I get that he's been saying that the whole album. How many different ways you have to say that they're taking there's white privilege. I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
It's just now at a point where I think it's getting repetitive, and what I'm missing is the skill. I really want him to just flex for a little bit more. I really hope he does for the rest of the album, but it's taken too long to see any sort of flex. And you've done a lot of meaning. Now I want to see you rap hard.
You're sort of you're over the political side of it.
Well, I mean, remember, 22 tracks.
Yeah.
22 tracks, I understand it's a political album, but 22 tracks of politics, it starts to get a little bit samey.
Yeah. Well, then, I like how he's re-emphasizing his power in this album with lines I don't know, again, a movie reference to the genre on Thanos. It's been done by Eminem, but I don't know, I still appreciated it. I thought the line, "I'm one of these dudes who be computer screen beefing" is now redundant because it's based on what we know he's done.
He's hitting the same notes, isn't he? It's halfway through, but he's already retreading all of his stuff. He's saying the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he gets 4 stars. He doesn't deserve a 5 for saying stuff that I've heard already.
Yeah.
It's interesting how on your first listen of an album you'll give out your ratings, and then on next listens that often will change in some point quite drastically.
Yeah.
look at like you, Danny, with Music to Be Murdered By. You were like.
No, this is going to be spoilers for the next episode.
We're not doing Music to Be Murdered By. No way.
But like, you frothed it initially, and then like not on other listens, like that changed. So that just is a testament to, I guess, what I'm saying here. Benny the Butcher was the standout for me again on this track, and I agree with you, Aaron, with Ashley Sorrell's opening chorus. I didn't mind it. I thought it was sort of added to the song.
It's just pleasant.
Yeah. And that simple beat and mesmerizing sample playing in the background are dope. I like them.
Dope, dude. Yeah. I'm the same. I'm the same as both of you. Like, everything's the same, basically. Like, Sorrell was okay. Royce, though, like, his opening bars where he's like, the gays and the straights and the straights and the gays and the gays and the straights. Like, it's a bit off-putting. Like, what, he doesn't like gay people? Like, is that the message? What are we trying to get?
Well, he is religious. I'm not sure, though.
But like, even if he's joking, like, it doesn't sound like he's joking about any of this stuff. Like, when Eminem says shit like that, he's joking. But Royce sounds serious. Like he's trying to be all woke on this album, but he's talking about gays in a negative way, I feel.
I thought I was a bit sort of that caught my attention as well, and I looked into the line, and it says that, or lines, Royce is essentially exemplifying the backwardness of society here, more specifically how convoluted the concept of sexuality has become in the 21st century. So gay men, rather than pursuing other gay men, often find themselves attracted to straight men. Meanwhile, straight men, rather than pursuing straight women, often fetishize lesbians who stereotypically dress like straight men. Therefore, the straight men, in efforts to attract lesbians, pretend to be gay men who are stereotypically
Jesus
feminine.
Christ.
So
that's
I
ridiculous.
I think that unfortunately this is not a comment standing with the times where sexuality is an ever-evolving thing. To say that, he thinks that sexuality is too complicated is actually not really something that he should be commenting on. But
it's just it doesn't come off right. It comes off in a negative way. I don't like it. And it puts me off for the rest of his verse. So
it's similar to the autism line.
Yeah, in a way. But it's not clear what he's saying, and all I can hear is when the straight dudes and the gays fuck the straights and the gays. Like, it's I don't know what he's trying to say, and it doesn't sound good. But I don't know. He recovers. Like, he does, say some cool shit later. Like, take it back to when it was apes in a pack. Kidnap you over that little rap you wrote. Leave your family taken aback by the handsome quote that I left on that ransom note. Like, that's the shit I want to hear. And that sounds completely different to straights and gays and gays and straights and straights and gays. That's garbage. That's trash. Like, in one verse, he shows his range of shit and how good he can be. But yes, this is the Benny the Butcher show. Like, he kills it. I can read you all his lines. I can read them all, and they'll all be fire. Like, as soon as you hear the butcher coming, like, it's on.
Yeah, he's got that name.
I love the name.
I know, it's gangster. It's so cool. So Benny the Butcher definitely elevates this track to 4.5, but Royce brings it down with his straights and gays. So it can't be a 5, but it's 4.5 because Benny killed it.
Yeah. Moving on to Perspective.
Let's let Matt take it away.
Yeah, track 15, Perspective.
I'm not gonna say anything, and Matt can say everything.
All I said was Eminem, yeah, boy. Now, first of all, I know that straight out the gate I'm biased, but this skit is great. I love how Royce has not only included them in his album. I would have preferred in a song. However,
Correct.
I'll sort of take what I'm given.
No, I'm not taking what I'm given.
But he's generously dedicated almost 2.5 minutes to allow his homie to speak some real shit to the fans of hip hop. I especially like M's thoughts on like hip hop's cultural influence over people. I love the line he said, "Nothing has brought more races and more people from all walks of life together than hip hop. No music has done that." Like, there's just something about like M when he speaks. Like, I don't know, it just like every single line is just so thought out. It's just like, it's almost like he's scripted it before he said it. Like, granted, he has a few pauses and stuff in between his speech, but like, I feel like he's really like, he thinks about everything he says, and I just like, I love that. I said respect to M for always speaking the truth, and respect to Royce for allowing him to do so on his latest album. Finally, the content of the skit relates to the themes explored in this album, and therefore is definitely a complimentary addition. I wouldn't go as far as to give it 5 stars. Surprise, surprise. So 4 will do.
Whoa.
In terms of the skit.
Eminem doesn't get 5 stars. Are you
How
serious?
dare you?
What?
I know. I'm not going to give a skit 5 stars. Like, I don't know. I felt like well, I shouldn't say I'm not going to give a skit 5 stars, but I don't know. It's funny, when I was rating this particular skit, I was like, I don't know, I felt a bit of like peer pressure from you boys, even though like, you weren't with me. I felt I was being judged if I was to give it 5 stars. So that's why I said 4 will do. But I'll be interested to hear like your thoughts. Final thing I'll say though, I'm just loving like all the Eminems, not all the Eminems, all the interviews Eminem is like doing lately with like Mike Tyson, for example, and King Crooked, and like I just love like how we're getting like lots of opportunities to see him like speak on like hip hop and like just other things in life. Like, I don't know, it just makes me connect with him even more as an artist and like enjoy his music more. Like, I don't know,
It's impossible for you to connect with Eminem more than you already are.
You love him. You're obsessed.
At the brain.
I just feel like, I don't know, for example, with Royce, like this album, for example, saying like the thing about autism, like I strongly disagree with what he's saying, and like I shouldn't like think less of him for it because like that's his opinion. But like you said, Danny,
but
like,
when Eminem says he rapes women, you connect with that.
But like you said yourself, there's a difference. Like, you can tell Eminem is joking about that shit, whereas like I don't know. I feel like I'm, as you said with the King Crooked interview, like sucking like a lot of dick here. Like, I don't know, I like what he's doing, and yeah,
sorry,
I
mate, just moving around, so cutting out. I mean, yeah, I think it's interesting. Again, like it's interesting. He makes a comment about it, but like, you know, he talks about Elvis. Arguably, he's Elvis of hip hop, but at the end of the day, you know, yeah, interesting. That's it. Like, I wouldn't listen to it again. No. He's said his piece. I wish I heard him on a track. But, yeah, I'll move on to track 16 because that's with King Crooked.
Yeah.
So, track 16, Tricked. Like, I was looking forward to this, like, as I said earlier, but I actually did not like this.
My God.
I can't tell.
What is wrong with you?
How dare you? I don't get it. Is it a trick? Is it a trick? Because I think it's a trick.
It's a trick.
Aaron's been tricked.
Yeah.
Oh, is it a trick?
Yeah. It's tricked into not liking the song.
Yeah.
And you tricked, boy.
Oh, that's a trick. Oh, is it a trick? Yeah, it's a trick. That's a trick. Oh, how many goddamn times do I have to listen to
trick? It gets better.
I thought he was talking about Trick.
Hey!
Yeah, how many times do I have to listen to them say, that's a trick? As far as I'm concerned, it distracted me the whole time that I had to hear, that's a trick, it's a trick, that's a trick. And then apparently Royce doesn't say it enough, so Crooked has to start saying it. And then, oh God, trick, we've been tricked, trick, it's a trick, it's a trick. I get it. How many times do you have to tell me it's a trick? I got a trick for him. 2.5 stars. That's my trick.
Whoa! That is harsh. That's so harsh. Can I just say this is
there's going to be some beef now.
Yeah, this is 5 stars. For some reason, the repetition does not bother me at all. Like, I think the concept is actually really cool. Like, being tricked by the record industry, by the government, by the prison system, you know, everything. Like, I think they do the concept really well, and it doesn't annoy me. I can definitely see how it would be annoying because of the repetition, but it, for some reason, doesn't annoy me. So I think they both did really well. Royce produces a really cool beat. Royce also does some anti-vax shit again, which is
yeah.
But again, I'm not going to let that detract from the overall song, and I love this song, and it's 5 stars for me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Do you know how many times? Do you know how many times Trick is said in this? It's said over 80 times.
No,
over 80 times in this track.
Yeah, if it was 100, it would be better.
Too much.
No.
I see what Aaron's saying, but I like.
Yeah, same.
Also, like, I like. I don't know. I just get initial listen. I was just like 5 stars, plain and simple. Like, I didn't write anything else. I wrote a few things, but like, I just wanted to make that clear from the beginning. Like, this is 5 stars for me because I don't know. It just felt gritty. Like when you said the beat, Danny, like I felt it was like an ominous, like beat. Like it was kind of like dark. Yeah. It was infectious. Like it's like that catchy sort of because it was repetitive. It was catchy. Like, I don't know. And the haunting vocals in the background, like, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't all work for me. I really liked the line that Royce had. No, sorry, I think it was in Crooked. I need to look into it, but the line is tricked into thinking your amendments really matter. The right to bear arms was only made for Grizzly Adams.
Yeah.
Like, and I looked into that line, and essentially it's saying that obviously Grizzly Adams was a white man, so they could be insinuating that, well, only white men should be able to bear arms. But the other thing that they're insinuating with that is, or could be insinuating, is that the reason to bear arms when Grizzly Adams was around was to protect themselves or defend themselves from wild animals, not to go and shoot up a fucking school with.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I just thought, like, again, that had deep meaning behind those lines there. Liked King Crooked. Again, yeah, I just think it's a 5-star track, personally.
Yeah. But... And we are right and Aaron is wrong.
Hey, this is my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
And I wanted to like this song. I don't know why. It just annoyed me.
You love Crooketer.
I do like Crooked. I like him a lot, and you know I like him a lot. But
shout out to King Crooked.
I don't know why it annoyed me so much. There's something about repetition, like if there's a balance, and I think they didn't meet that balance. I think they took it too far.
Yeah.
You know what? I think would have made this song 6 stars for me is if they had got a feature from Trick on here. That would
have been funny. I would have raised it to 3.5 stars for that.
I got 6 stars from me if they said Trick a little bit more.
Yeah. What if they said nothing except Trick? Trick.
Yeah.
It's a trick.
So
trick.
They just rhymed Trick with Trick all the time.
Oh, shit.
Moving on to the next track. Black People in America, another interlude.
And another anti-vax skit.
Oh, it's getting just sickening now. Like, nothing special here with this skit. The anti-vaxxer shit just keeps coming. And like, yeah, the content matches the themes, but it's a skipperoo for me.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. We've touched on the anti-vax enough. Like, our opinions have been made. It's his opinion. Everyone's entitled to it, but yeah, it's too far.
Yep.
Track is finished. Now let's move on to track 18, Black Savage.
Who wants to kick it off?
I know Danny loves T.I., so let's throw it to Danny.
I love T.I. I do love T.I. It's not the reason I love the song. Oh, hey, let me get to that. I'll get to that. Yeah. So this was the first single. So this was the first thing that I heard from the album before, like, the album came out, and I really, liked it. So, if anything, this may have got my expectations up higher than they would have been otherwise. Because, like, I liked the production, and I knew he'd produced it himself. The choir, like, vocals on the hook, I really like. Royce sounds good for once. Like, he's spitting. I don't know who Cy Ari the kid is, but he sucked. He was like, he didn't do anything. He was doing like ABC rhymes. Like, he did 4 little lines and he was out. Like, and he
didn't do anything.
Yeah. However, Sci-Hi murdered this track. Sci-Hi has the best verse on the entire album. Like, it sounds amazing. His rhyme scheme is insane. They trying to take the soul out of soul. They say I sold out, I never sold out a show, even though people drove out in droves, plus a whole lot of hoes. I suppose on the road to success, you got to pay the toll, I was told. Like, insane. He steals the song, he steals the album. Then it goes to T.I. though, and like, it's pretty hard to pick up anything that he's saying. Like, his southern drawl is like so thick. I cannot understand what he's saying. So I had to look it up on Rap Genius, and he's actually saying some interesting, political stuff, but what's the point if I can't hear it when I'm listening to it casually? So disappointing. I do love T.I. though. But Sci-Hi steals it, and this is 5 stars, and Sci-Hi murders it, and that's the end.
But what's interesting to me is, like, you say it's 5 stars, but then you're like, Aria, the kid, you're like, it's like...
Yeah, but that was 4, he did 4 lines. Like,
he did more than 4 lines. He had 2, he did 4 lines twice.
Oh, whoa!
But I mean, that's like, Royce didn't have that many lines.
Yeah, but when I listen to this song and Sayari the kid comes on, like, it's, for some reason, it's easy for me to just, not be bothered by it. Like, it is trash, but I'm not like, oh, this is making me angry, this sick, this stinks. Like, it just goes by. And then I get to hear Sci-Hi murder it.
But what about White Gold? He didn't do much either.
He didn't detract. He didn't sound bad.
Because I like this song too. I gave it 4 stars. But the only reason I didn't give it 5 was because, like, those people took away, like, they just weren't, they didn't do anything.
I feel like you're way too harsh, though. Like, if one thing is, like, annoys you, it's automatically not 5 stars. Like, I think maybe I'm just more generous with my rating system because this song goes into the playlist. I listen to this song all the time. Like, it's 5 stars. I don't know, like, so it has to be perfect to be 5 stars.
I keep thinking, like, would I change anything? But if I, like, 5 stars, maybe it's because I'm just like, if I would change something, it's not 5. 5 out of 5 is like, put it in, don't change it, nothing annoys me, I can listen to it on repeat for ages.
Yeah.
But this is like, there are things here that I'm just like, it's good, it's like, it's really good, but it's not a 5-star track.
Yeah. Well, it's just, our rating systems are just based on different criteria, that's all it is. And
just different opinions, like.
But it's not really, because we kind of have the same opinion. Like, we both don't like Sayari the Kid. We both. What about what I said? Did you not agree with?
No, I agree. I just think you're being a little bit too generous. That's just my opinion, but I guess it also comes from expectations again, But I really like this beat, but there are bits in it as well where it's really busy. I think I mentioned to you before, like, when it first came out, that I liked it, but there was just elements of just too busy. I think in the hook, he just falls into that trap again, where there's just a lot of different sounds. That was like, and they're probably nitpicks, but they take away from that ability to be a 5-star track.
That's fair enough. I mean, we it's not like we have exactly the same taste either. We are very similar a lot of the time, but I don't know. I just think we definitely have a different rating system, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, Matt.
This song for me, I didn't know this was the first single from the album, and I think it's kind of cool that now I know that it is, because out of all the songs, how weird is this? Out of all the songs that I've obviously listened to on this album, this was the song that I woke up this morning with in my head. Like for some reason, this song like stuck in my head. Like particularly the I don't know, just the I called them African style background vocals. Now I'm not
they
sure.
are. They are.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. Because I was worried about like calling them that if they weren't, but like so I really like that. The upbeat drums, easy listening chorus, and it just felt like one word like to describe this track for me was just like groovy. Like I could vibe to this track. On top of that, the features are mint. Like I couldn't have asked any better features with Sci-Hi and Ti. I love them both. Like I love Sci-Hi just because, like obviously Danny, I think it was you who introduced me to him, and I don't know, his sound is just it's so unique, and I just want him to release like more shit. Like I don't know what's going on with him. Like stop being like a stellar feature on other people's albums. Make your own stellar album. Like I don't know. Like
he has the potential for sure.
Yeah. And then Ti, like I'm liking because obviously I watched one of his documentaries on Netflix recently, and I feel like my relationship with the artists I listen to is like heavily influenced by my ability to connect with them on like a personal level through like whether it be like a documentary or like like an interview or something like that. So I don't know, I just really like Ti. And I would, based on all of those things, I'd give this a 4-star. And I'd definitely listen to it again.
Yeah, and I would agree with those things.
But that's So this is the song you give 4 stars.
It's interesting in your rating system that this is 4 stars in comparison to the others.
That is so strange to me.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and also thinking about this is the song that I woke up with. This is like a testament itself to the fact that your opinions of things change over time. So like knowing that I woke up with this in my head, that's like showing that the effect that this song had on me. So obviously I rated it as a high, like a good song, but now I need to consider maybe it's even higher than 4 stars for me.
Because there are so many songs you gave 5 stars to. And it sounds like you really like this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm actually like just excited to listen. Like I want to go through the album and listen to the songs that I've either rated 4 or 5 stars, and make a second judgment on them, and just like, like I like.
Me too. I also want you to do that.
Have another podcast where we get your opinion after listening to it again.
I think this podcast is going to be us reviewing the Allegory every week with a different.
Classic. But at this on that listen, it was 4 stars for me. It could be even higher though after this conversation and another listen.
Yeah.
So track 19, Rhinestone Do-Rag. Danny, what do you reckon?
It's good. It's definitely good. It's just too short. Short and sweet, but definitely too short. It doesn't feel like a complete song.
You know what this is to me? This feels like a verse that Royce really liked, but couldn't find a place for in a song on his album. Therefore, he just included it here randomly. Obviously, like you're right, Danny, I enjoy the music and would probably listen to it again. I do wish Royce had made this verse into a complete song. Like, I don't know, it's incomplete for me.
Yeah, I really like the sample. I was like, please use that sample again. Yeah. Why did you use that sample in such a short song? It's a waste. It upset me. Like I gave it like 3.5 stars because it was too short and because he wasted such a good sample on such a short song.
Yeah, I gave it 3 stars.
I gave it 4 stars just because like what was there was pretty good. It just wasn't a complete song, so you can't give it the big 5. But Sample was good. The beat's nice. He was good. Yeah.
Awesome. Track 20. Geez, 20 songs in. Young World.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I thought it was another okay beat. I thought Vince Staples does his thing, but I don't know. Again, it didn't get me. This didn't hook me in. And I know everyone's going to be like, "Oh, so harsh, so harsh."
Yeah.
But yeah, I just I thought it was okay. I would say it was middle of the road. You know, there was nothing too crazy. But I did like the hook with the female voice. But I couldn't help but think that the beat needs a little bit of light. Like, he seems to be swinging. Yeah, I don't know. His beats just haven't got me that much in this album. The ones that get me are the ones with the soul samples. They're the ones with the, the violin and the pianos in there. But yeah, I gave this 3 stars. I didn't have much else.
Yeah. I mean, this track is good. This track is good. Like, but it's nothing special. Like, and the hook's a mess, I reckon. Like, it's not pleasant to listen to, this hook. Vince Staples is cool. I actually like his sounds cool. I just don't have much to say about this song. Like,
yeah.
it's a standard 4-star for me. Like, I don't mind listening to it, but then again, nothing stands out. Like, he does say, though, he says, at one point, Royce says, like, he made millions off of Prime. That cannot be true. Like, that's so underground. There's no way he made millions off of Prime. But other than that, it's just a good song. It's good and it's not great, but it's not average. And it's listenable and it's a 4-star song.
Yeah.
3 stars for me. I'm with you, Aaron. I could take or leave this track. More so leave than take it. I said there was not much I liked here. The features are memorable, neither is the beat of the chorus, and its only redeeming factor is Royce's verse at the end, but it's not necessarily something that I would be patient enough to wait for on a second listen, probably. I like Royce's line, tell Trump don't send a tweet, send a plumber to Flint. Not because it's like, obviously, like, lyrically, like, blows my mind, but just because I was like, what does that mean? So I've looked it up, and it was to do with, it's a reference to a water contamination issue that is going on in Flint, Michigan since 2014, where, like, lead has been found in the water supplies, and it still hasn't been resolved. So, like, people in that area are, like, potentially have lead poisoning from drinking the water. And I recently watched that Mark Ruffalo film, Dark Waters. And I don't know, I obviously connected with that line, and I thought it was cool how, obviously this is a heavily politically based album, but I just think it's cool how Royce keeps his ear to the ground with, like, the current affairs outside of hip hop. And yeah, he's proved that in other ways in this album as well. Yeah, for some strange reason, that line just jumped out at me.
I think we're all pretty similar there. Moving on to track 21. My People Free.
Things are starting to wind down now with this, like, with the album and this track. Like, I don't know, this song, surprisingly, well, you might not be surprised, I gave it 2 stars, so I said this was trash.
Yeah.
The reason why I said it was trash is because I feel, you know how, like you boys, Danny in particular, when Eminem does a song for the ladies, you're like, I don't want to hear this shit. Like, on an Eminem album. Like, this song feels like, for me, a song that, like, people would smoke a joint to and get high on, and, like, it's just very mellow and slow.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's not something that I, like, connected with. I made a little joke here. I was like, Fiddy may have a differing opinion, though, as I know he enjoys one weed every now and then. And then I also said, also, I don't think Dr. Dre would appreciate the chorus, Ashley, so shut up.
Ring ding dong, ring ding 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 dong.
So yeah, 2 stars. That's trash for me. I definitely wouldn't listen to that again.
I agree. I'm not as harsh, though. I'd say it's 3 stars. It's just painfully average. Beat's not interesting. Like, Ashley does a, sing-songy thing and copies that Dr. Dre classic. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting to be reminded of a better song. And then Royce sings, which is, we don't want that. We don't want Royce singing.
No, we don't.
We never want that. We just don't want that. So, yeah, his verse is kind of interesting, but when the singing ruins it. So it's just an average song, really average, 3 stars.
Yeah, I gave it 3.5. I just find Ashley Sorrell's voice pleasant. I think that's what it is. It's just pleasant. I could have it in the background. It wouldn't annoy me. There's not too much here. I did like the line that gave him 3 to 5 for marijuana and legalized that shit. It's just an interesting message that, people were getting time for selling weed and now, you can buy it for free. But, at the same time, that wasn't only African Americans who were selling weed. That's also, but probably more a comment on, the overrepresentation of African Americans in prison. But, I understand his point. But yeah, this song, 3.5 stars, nothing too crazy. I didn't annoy me, didn't get me either way. Just in that average range of probably in the background, and I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, the album definitely does feel like it's fizzling out at this point for sure.
Yeah.
Until
track 22.
Woo!
Hero. Last track of the album, track 22.
Yeah.
I can be your hero, baby.
I think we're doing a different album.
Kiss away the pain.
Oh, yeah. Aaron, I have a feeling if there's going to be a 5-star song on this album, it's this one for Aaron. Well,
I'll let you know my thoughts before I give you the rating on it. So I thought soul with nice drums, and I like this will go well, and a good flow. I liked his flow here, and I love the subject matter. It's real, it's raw, it's about him, he's very honest. The one thing that I don't understand, and I don't think I ever will, is he sees his dad as a hero. And in the Book of Ryan, he clearly talks about how his dad was abusive. And it doesn't make sense to me. I can't seem to rationalize having a father that's abusive and have the same person as a hero. They seem to not go hand in hand. So, it's
subjective though, and it's all relative. Compared to all the families around him. His dad might have been abusive, but in the end, he stuck around. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a relevant point, but he doesn't talk about his mum being his hero. He only talks about his dad being his hero, and
he doesn't.
And that's weird. His mum, he mentions his mum, trying to protect, his brother and himself when he was a kid in the Book of Ryan, but he keeps going on about his dad. He has that song Cocaine, and he's happy his dad chose them instead of cocaine. But it's what about your mum? It sounds like you're giving credit to the wrong person.
Yeah.
And but that's just purely based on the things he said. Yeah. Obviously not living it, not knowing, but it's just interesting that he keeps talking about his dad and not his mum, even though his mum seems to be the person who stuck around through the abuse just for him and his kids.
However, he does say in the final verse, he says, "Pop, I just want to keep my mama happy. She stayed. I just want you to keep my mama happy. She stayed right there beside you through all this time. She went above and beyond faithful." I get what you're saying. He does sort of do a little shout out to his mum, but yeah, there isn't sort of a song as such that he's obviously dedicated on this album to thanking his mum.
Well, no album. There's no album. Okay. There's no song that he's dedicated to his mum.
Yeah, that's probably a problem. That is, he probably does need to do a song for his mum at this point because he has. That's true. He has made a lot of songs about his dad, but that's all we get. We get little snippets every album of of his life with his dad. Like, we're not getting the whole picture. He's giving us what he wants to give us.
Yeah.
And he's not, I'm sure his dad did a lot of great things for him and his family, to deserve his admiration, and we just don't hear about it as much.
Well, I think that's my problem, that, for the things that he's said, and he even says in this track, even though sometimes home would get abusive, Papa showed us tough love, but don't misconstrue us. I talked about his past. I thought I did it with respect, but I'm just dragging all these bags and all these feelings he's suppressed. There's obviously things he hasn't said, but he's obviously touched on the difficult times. I'm just, as, someone who just, I don't know, it just seems like he's missing a beat. And for someone who is looking to be, quite progressive in his thinking, it's a good opportunity to step up and do a song about your mum, who was also there, not just your dad who struggled with stuff. But other than that, I thought the feature in the end was White Gold was unnecessary. I like when Royce. I wanted Royce to finish and have the last word on this song, not White Gold. But I gave it 4 stars.
Oh, it's definitely 5 stars. I see what you're saying though, but you're judging the song on what it's not saying instead of what it is saying. He's saying some, yes, it's about his dad, and he said it before, but it's genuine. It's from the heart. You can feel it. I like how he's adding, how he regrets not running this stuff by his dad, because he has made a lot of songs about his dad.
Yeah. And
only now he's saying, I probably should have run it past him before I put it out on record. Because it sounds to me like he never even had those discussions with him and just put it straight on an album.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to hear. The soul sample was amazing. Did you not love that soul sample?
I did love the soul sample.
That was the best beat probably on the album. I don't know, it was really personal. The beat was good. Yes, the outro with White Gold was kind of weak, but it's not enough to ruin the song, and it's 5 stars.
Maybe I was a bit harsh. I can probably turn around retrospectively and say it was a bit harsh. Maybe having listened to the explanation that I gave and your explanation, I can change my verdict to a 5 stars.
Ooh,
look, I'm man enough to say that sometimes I'm not correct all the time.
Yeah. Well, opinions change all the time.
Yeah.
My ratings are all going to change after this, I reckon. But we'll have to wait and see.
For me, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I wish I couldn't.
So I want to read this out because this is my this also includes my final thoughts.
All right, I'll let you do it just this once because you haven't read anything.
Yeah. All right. So I said a nice way to conclude the album, an upbeat, positive, and personal message to his dad. I like Royce's flow on this track, and I would probably listen to it again. This is a challenging track to critique, as it is good for what it is. Now a permanent insight into for fans into Royce's relationship with his father, but also not a track that fans would necessarily remember in the same way they do, for example, a track like Boom. It isn't something that I finished listening to and was like, wow, that was incredible. That being said, and this is where I'm sort of having my final thoughts on the album. That being said, I think it's cool how the album began with a father speaking with his son about life lessons, and the album ends with the son speaking to his father about the admiration he has for him and how he raised him. A fitting ending, if you ask me, that Royce would have intentionally planned, knowing the purposeful thought that he clearly puts into each of his projects. Respect, Royce.
That's interesting.
I think
that is interesting.
I think the reason why he did a dedication track to his father is because the album has essentially come full circle from his birth. It wasn't necessarily Royce, obviously, speaking his father to him as a son, but I think the intention there is that, like, from birth to death, this is the cycle of like black families in America, and this is sort of what the struggles that they have to deal with. But yeah, Royce is essentially saying that his father might not be perfect, but he he loves him, and he is coming to understand why he raised him, and sort of the decisions he made in his life with him. So that's why I think it was a really good track, and I would give it 4 stars.
Oh my god!
Such a build up. I thought you'd give it 5.
I know, and that was really good. Like, I didn't think about it like that at all, and it makes me think about things. At least the intro and outro so much more differently. Like how it does go full circle. I didn't even think about it. So. But then you give it 4 stars.
Yeah, but that's because, like, it's not like I said. I'd probably listen to it again, but it's not like, I don't know. I'd have to be in a certain mood to listen to that track. Like, I acknowledge that it's a part of Royce's catalog now, and the fans will be thankful for that because they get that sort of insight into his relationship with his dad. But I don't know. It's just not something that, like, I'd compare to, like, Fubu, for example, like, or some other, like, tracks that maybe I, when I see, like, give a 5-star track, like, maybe I'm just looking for a banger. Like, maybe I'm looking for a song that slaps and, like, hard lyrics.
Yeah. I suffer from that sometimes.
Yeah,
exactly. So I think, like, it depends on the mood I'm in. Like, yes, it's 4 stars at the moment. I'm not saying it's a bad track. It's definitely a good track. But, like, maybe if I'm in a bit more of an emotional mood, then I'd give it a 5 stars. I don't know. Like with Eminem, when he does, like, that song to his mum, like, it's a similar sort of thing. Like, yeah, okay, he sang on the song, so that wasn't great, but, like, it's a touching sort of message to his mum and the development that he's gone through from the start of his career to now. So, like, I can't give it less than 4 stars, but I don't know if I can give it 5 either. That's why this song for me was challenging to critique, but I really appreciate the thought that I feel like Royce has put into this track and the position on the album in which he's placed it, because I think placing it here, it brought the album full circle from from track 1, Mr. Grace. You know?
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Aaron, that must have changed your mind.
Yeah, I think so. I think having listened to your explanation of it, it changes my mind and moves it to a 5-star song. I didn't think of it that way. The only thing is, I think you're right, though, with, how often would I listen to it? It's a 5-star song in the same way that a really good movie can be a 5-star movie, but I can be satisfied and not want to watch it again. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's like, retrospectively, I think it is a 5-star song. I almost want to go back and listen to it to, validate my newfound opinion on it. But, people rating it 4 stars, I think it's in that mark. But yeah, I think your explanation has moved me over to that 5-star mark.
He's done it, boys.
Oh, what a hero. Matt, you saved the album. You saved the album.
The only 5-star track.
Convinced by a first time Royce album entirety listener.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, Royce can thank you for that one himself.
Yeah. Shout out to Royce if you are listening to this podcast.
He definitely is.
Do you guys want to finish, like, Matt? I think you've pretty much summed up. Do you have what's your final take on the album? What's your final score?
Yeah. So, no, fair call. I did do that. So I'm really liking how I've structured my reviews now. Like, I do, like, I speak on each track a little bit, and then, like, I refer to obviously, like, the beat and the lyrics and the chorus. Like, that's usually the pattern I follow, and then, like, any other personal thoughts or any lyrics that stood out to me. But then I also love giving them a rating, because then at the end what I do is I add up all of the stars that I've given for each song. Obviously find out the total potential stars. So obviously this album had 22 tracks, 5 stars each. So that came to a total of a possible 110 stars for the album. And based on my scoring, which I thought was quite generous, I gave the album, it scored 83 stars out of a possible 110, which for tracks 1 to 22 on this album, which gave it a percentage of just over 75%. So then I took that and found out 75% of 5 stars, which gave me 3.75 stars.
I didn't know this was turning into a math lesson.
Can you say the same thing, just simplify it?
When you put it into the quadratic formula, what happens?
So for the Allegory, Royce to 5'9", my final verdict, my album rating is 3.75 stars. Or we'll round it up. We'll be generous. We'll give it 4 out of 5 stars. So definitely an album that I enjoyed listening to. I would certainly listen to it again. More specifically, tracks that I have rated 5 stars on the first listen, as well as ones that I've rated 4 stars. Probably wouldn't revisit ones that I've rated less than 4 stars. But I think there's enough on this album for me to want to listen to it again, and I respect the story that I feel Royce has told in this album, and I just really like how he rounded out the project from beginning to end. As a first-time listener to Royce, in terms of like an entire album, I was impressed, and I probably would seek out other projects that he's done in the past because of the skills he's displayed on this album. So shout out to Royce, well done, and I love what you've done here. Fiddy and Slim for the peer pressure to get around to listening to the whole album.
Did you, by any chance, did you apply this quadratic formula to the Eminem album?
Yes, I did.
And what was it? 755 stars out of 755.
Do you really want to know?
Yes.
I gave it?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just skimming back through my conversations with you because I definitely had it in here.
Well, Danny, do you want to give us your rating on this?
Well, I didn't really have like an overall album rating. Like, I probably would have done it the same way Matt did, like, although nowhere near as complicated. But like, yeah, I would have just averaged out the stars and seen what it looked like. But overall, like, I'm not that impressed, to be honest. Like, there's probably 4 songs that are like 5 stars. So out of 20, how many? 22?
22 tracks.
So 4 songs that are like 5 stars. That's not, obviously it's not what I want. I want an album of 5-star songs.
Yeah.
And then, but like, I think a good, maybe half of the songs though are at least a 4, which is, yeah, like maybe 10 or 11 are like decent, good songs, if not great songs. But then there's another half of the album which is trash. So the album is half trash. And to be honest, that's like kind of what I expected from Royce going in.
Yeah.
Based on what I've heard from his solo stuff in the past few years. Like, it's the same. A couple of good songs, and the rest is below average, and that's the trajectory that he is on for me, and he has continued that. But, like, I got a couple of good songs that I put on a playlist, so I can't complain too much. But as one of my favorite rappers of all time, like, it's disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I gave it 3 stars. The album, like, average, middle of the road. He had some good stuff. He had some poor stuff. Like, I think what credit goes in terms of album construction, theme-wise, he's very consistent, which is credit to him. He doesn't jump all over the place. But he still needs to do some work on his production. His flow here just wasn't what I wanted. Yeah, a couple of good songs that I would listen to again, but overall, I think he missed the mark. Not as good as he's ever been, but I have a feeling he's now, unfortunately, heading in a path that isn't going to yield the best of him anymore, which I hope I'm wrong, because I do love him as well. But yeah, I just think that this was an okay album, like average, couple of good songs, some trash on there. But at the end of the day, 3 stars. I'm glad I listened to it. But yeah, I hope in his next project he can prove us wrong and smash it out of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so your final verdict is 3 out of 5 stars for the album. What's yours, Danny?
I don't really have a overall. Like, I could, insert the your algorithm into my contract formula and figure it out, but it's probably like similar to Aaron's. Although I feel like overall, Matt, you were the highest on the album.
Yeah.
I'm basically in the middle, and then Aaron's closely behind, but he's the lowest on the album.
So Aaron's 3 stars, you're 3.5.
Yeah, and you're 4.
And I'm 4. Yeah, okay.
That would be about right.
Yeah.
That's pretty consistent with our ratings from the very beginning, though. So, yeah.
The formula always works.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Always works.
I looked up the Music to Be Murdered by Formula, but it's all like videos, so I need to listen to my videos and see what my final verdict was.
You can message us later.
Okay.
Well, gents, let me just say that is a full album reviewed. Royce to 5'9", Allegory, from start to finish. Let us know what you like. Let us know if you agree, disagree. Royce, feel free to message. Let us know what you think. I'm sure you love your album. But that is. Thanks for listening to the show. Please like and subscribe the Slim, Fitty, and Biggie Committee, and follow us on Instagram at @the_Slim, Fitty, Biggie Committee. Stay tuned for our next show, and bye for now.